everybody hit the like button, chat. Let's get to 100 likes. All the real ones that's still in here, hit the like button, man. They got the running out of here because I kept it real. I told them to find something safe to do. It's 2026, man. Ain't I playing about these women out here, man. Hey, it's 2026, man. To find something safe to do.
Post was made. So I am not permitted to get into the details of what the grand jury heard or found, as you know, but rest assured that it's not just the Instagram post that leads
What's
somebody
up, Lala?
Well, part of what the government would have to prove is intent. James Comey deleted the post the same day, and he wrote, quote, "I didn't realize some folks associate those numbers with violence. It never occurred to me, but I oppose violence of any kind, so I took the post down." How do you prove intent, Mr. Blanche, when Mr. Comey himself said he didn't understand that some people would look at that and think about violence?
You prove intent like you always prove intent. You prove intent with witnesses. You prove intent with documents, with materials. So again, this is not just about a single Instagram post. This is about a body of evidence that the grand jury collected over the series of about 11 months. That evidence was presented to the grand jury. And it's not the government, it's not the Department of Justice, it's not Todd Blanche that returned an indictment against James Comey. It's a grand jury, part of the judicial process. And that this process has to be allowed to play out in the courts. It's not fair to Mr. Comey. It's certainly not fair to the prosecutors for us to be airing.
Man, I'm telling y'all, chat, I want y'all to quit looking up to these people, man. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Stop looking up to these people, man. These commentators, these politicians, man. Stop looking up to these people. They will sell you the fuck out. I'm here to tell you this, man. I'm here to tell you this, man. Idols turn rivals, all type of. Stop looking up to these people, man. Stop it. For what? They gonna sell you out of every corner.
Your view or my view of this indictment, it's something that will be presented in court at the time set by the judge.
Well, let's delve a little deeper. Conservative legal scholar Jonathan Turley said, quote, "This indictment is facially unconstitutional, absent some unknown new facts." Are you in fact saying that there are facts beyond this Instagram post that clearly establish an intent to threaten the president's life?
I've said repeatedly, this was an investigation that lasted 11 months.
I'm just gonna be honest with you, Chad. These people should not be our fucking heroes, man. A lot of these politicians, political commentators, streamers, they should not be our heroes, bro. They should not be our heroes, man. They get in the right rooms, man, they gonna sell you. They don't listen. They gonna sell you out. I don't care if you white, black, dark, or bright. If they gotta sell niggas out behind closed doors, they gonna sell niggas out. If they gotta sell Latinos out behind closed doors, they gonna sell Latinos out. If they gotta sell them white folks out, man, blue collar, they gonna sell y'all ass out too, man. Stop putting your trust in these people, man. The fuck is going wrong with us, man?
The only facts that existed was the posting of the Instagram. Obviously, that wouldn't have taken 11 months. And so when Mr. Turley talks about
what's up, Jose?
Facially unconstitutional, absent unknown facts or circumstances, we will necessarily have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt at trial every element of this crime, which we're prepared to do.
Can you and will you let the public know what any of those other facts are?
Absolutely.
You said, who do I look up to? My dad. I look up to my dad, Tone. My dad, bro. Honestly.
It's called a trial. That's what happens in every single case. We indict thousands of cases every year. Every one of those cases, there's an indictment, and then eventually there is a trial or some sort of disposition. At the trial, a public trial that will be open to the public, everybody in this country will know exactly what evidence the government has against Mr. Comey.
I know you can't give me specifics, but can you give me any insight? Are you talking about writings? Are you talking about conversations? What does this other evidence consist of?
We are talking about evidence of all sorts, and that means documents, that means witnesses, and that means the whole array of what we did. And again, we are not talking about some political guy in D.C. running out and getting an indictment. We are talking about career prosecutors in North Carolina systematically investing a case with the FBI working with them, with the Secret Service working with them, and now we have an indictment.
Well, the image, excuse me, is part of what led to this indictment.
Yes.
It is worth noting that on Amazon.com, we looked this up, there are dozens of products with the same terminology. We're showing it right here, 8647 being sold and purchased right now. Should individuals selling or buying 8647?
I'm gonna let y'all ass know right now. Your ass put that shit in your Amazon cart, your ass on a watch list, man. Your ass put the hey, the Runny says, what are you doing with your life, bro? I'm clearly streaming right now because your ass is watching me. Like you people come in here and ask the dumbest shit. What are you doing with I'm streaming, nigga. You watching me. The fuck? Anyways, chat, you put that 8647 shit in your cart, your ass on a watch list immediately. Your ass on a watch list.
47 merchandise. Be concerned that they're going to be prosecuted by the DOJ.
This isn't about a single incident. Okay, this isn't. I mean, of course not. That's posted constantly. That phrase is used constantly. There are constantly men and women who choose to make threatening statements against President Trump. Every one of those statements do not result in indictments, of course. There are facts, there are circumstances, there are investigations that have to take place, and we have charged dozens and dozens of men and women this year with threatening President Trump and others. So this isn't a new charge we're bringing.
Just to be very clear, you are suggesting...
Now, I'm not gonna lie, chat. I know you, a lot of y'all, when we get to talking about these topics, y'all put it under free speech. I'm just gonna be honest with you, chat. I've never said unalive presidents. I've never said let's unalive anybody, man. I always understood that your ass can get in trouble for that shit, chat. Even when I was into it with people in real life, chat, I'm not one of those people that's gonna go to the internet and say what I'm gonna do to you when I see you or what I want. Nah, man. Your ass gonna get in trouble, man. Your ass gonna get in trouble, man. I don't know what makes people get out here and say these things, bro. And then act surprised when their ass get in trouble.
The seashells themselves are not at the root of this indictment.
No, I am suggesting that every single case depends on the investigation that's done. And
I'm just gonna be honest with you, chat. If motherfucker wanted to do something for real, chat, like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just from somewhere different, bro, chat. Like, the people who really with that action, people who really, I'm getting down with that shit, bro, they don't do too much talking, bro. They probably don't have social media at all, man. And if they do have social media, it's light. It's slight, man. You probably get one picture a year, maybe a status every 6 months. Man, they really outside, man.
Of course, the seashells are part of that case. I mean, that's what the public sees. But without a doubt, and it should be evident by the fact that it's been 11 months since the posting and the indictment, there is an investigation that takes place. And that's the result. The result of that investigation is the indictment that was returned last week.
Let's talk big picture. Back on September 20th, President Trump publicly posted a private message to then Attorney General Pam Bondi, pressuring her to prosecute Senator Adam Schiff, James Comey, and Letitia James, writing, quote, "They're all guilty as hell, but nothing is going to be done. They impeached me twice. They indicted me 5 times over nothing. Justice must be served now." Why should the public believe that?
And y'all thought I was capping. Chat, let's get to 100 likes right quick. We're 14 likes away from 100 likes. Let's get to 100 likes right quick. Double tap that screen. But chat, do y'all remember when a lot of y'all gave me pushback when I said this was Trump's revenge tour? The day he got elected, November 5th, 2024. Yeah, November 5th, 2024. I said, this is Trump's revenge tour. I said, this is going to be a revenge tour. And a lot of you, no, it's not going to be like that. It's not, man. Listen, chat, I told y'all.
Any case brought against the individuals listed there is an independent law enforcement decision and not retribution.
Well, because you have investigations and you have indictments and you have the result. I mean, listen, if years later you're judged by a simple note from President Trump, by the way, that wasn't a private message. That was a message delivered to the entire world.
Right.
And so this is not being done behind closed
But
doors.
it was meant to be private initially, based on
How
my
do you know it was
conversation.
meant to be private?
Based on my conversations, it was meant to
Well,
be
I'm not
with
aware of
top
those conversations, but
administration officials. It was meant to
President
be
Trump-
private and posted by mistake.
President Trump is very clear with the American people what he expects as President of the United States. That is not something he hides from the American people. He wants justice. He wants full investigations.
I'm going to be honest with you. CB says it ain't revenge. They broke the law. What about all them folks in the Epstein files that broke the law too? I'm just saying, you know, I mean, don't run up out of here, y'all. See, when I get to telling y'all the truth, y'all want to leave. That's the thing, Chad. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
Were appropriate. And by the way, that's a good thing. That's not a bad thing. Everybody in this country should want that. And so, no, I don't operate based upon concern or fear. The American people will know exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it.
And yet, Mr. Acting Attorney General, the Justice Department has already indicted former FBI Director James Comey, as you know, and New York Attorney General Letitia James in a federal
and John Bolton.
Both of
and John Bolton.
Why should people have confidence that this case will actually move forward and is rooted in facts?
Well, let's be accurate, okay? The judge dismissed those cases not based on a factual finding that President Trump did something wrong or that there was something wrong with the underlying facts leading to that indictment. The federal judge dismissed that case because he found that the U.S. attorney was not properly appointed. That's not there was no final finding on the facts or anything like that. So look, those cases are on appeal. We will see what happens. But again, you're comparing apples to oranges when you say just because that indictment was dismissed, there's something wrong with the underlying investigation.
Well, again, he did directly push to have those people indicted. Charges were brought, and then they were dropped. Does that not undercut potentially the trust that people...
Chat, we're about 8 likes away from 100 likes. What's up, Grape Seed? We're about 8 likes away from 100 likes.
In the Justice Department.
Absolutely not. And by the way, do you think, or do the American people think that nothing was done on those cases until President Trump posted that truth in September? No, these are ongoing investigations. Investigations take time. Investigations take effort. And so, no, I am not concerned. What we do at the Department of Justice, the American people can judge us, and they will. And I'm ready to be judged because we're doing the right thing. We're restoring justice, which nobody saw for 4 years. There weren't guests on your show for 4 years during the last administration being overly critical of what the Department of Justice is doing. And that was a problem, and we fixed it.
I want to turn now to the shooting at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Since we last spoke, it has been deemed an assassination attempt against President Trump. We are all so thankful he is okay, and everyone at that dinner, including yourself, is okay. His lawyers say that the suspect in this case is now on a suicide watch. Are there any new updates you can share on the investigation or new charges that the suspect may be facing?
Well, look, the investigation is ongoing, and it happened just over a week ago, and I expect that the U.S. Attorney Bureau, that she and her team are continuing to work on understanding why this man allegedly did what he did, any other information that they can learn from the devices and from the search warrants that were executed. I don't have an update to provide you beyond the fact that we are working hard. I expect in the next week or so there will be more information coming out. Obviously, assuming the investigation moves forward, there will be an indictment forthcoming, and all that is typical of what happens.
You say more information, more charges potentially too?
Potentially. I mean, look, I think that's what happens, right? There's initial charges and there's an investigation, and to the extent that the government learns more things, I assure you they will become charges.
All right, let's turn to the Supreme Court's decision to remove a major pillar of the Voting Rights Act, which protected minority voters. In his majority decision, Justice Alito argued this, quote, the nation had made, quote, great strides in ending entrenched racial
What's up, AJ?
Do you believe that minority voters are represented equally in this country?
Yes, there is no doubt that the Supreme Court got this decision right. It's the position of the Department of Justice. It's the position of this administration. We argued the case. And so, yes, there is also no doubt that the existing system was not consistent with our Constitution. And that's what the Supreme Court found. And there's going to be a lot of criticism, I expect, even in the coming moments on this show about that decision. But the reality is, what people cannot say is that the provision that was struck down by the Supreme Court is consistent with our Constitution. And that's the Supreme Court's job, is to interpret the Constitution.
But the voters see this country differently. According to the latest Gallup poll, 83% of Black Americans and 61% of white Americans believe that racism is widespread. Does that challenge the idea that there is racial equality.
The Supreme Court doesn't make decisions based upon a Gallup poll. The Supreme Court is not allowed to make decisions because there's some poll that says some percentage of Americans feel one way or another. They interpret the Constitution, and keeping our elections fair, keeping our
Here we go.
exactly what they're supposed to be, consistent with the Constitution, is what President Trump has been fighting for 10 years. And so this was a great win for the American people.
But the root of the Voting Rights Act was to make sure that people were treated equally, that they had equal rights when it came to voting and representation. Does it not weaken that ultimate goal?
The fact that we're talking about this when Democrats in Congress, for example, refuse to support basic structures to guarantee free and fair elections is laughable. I mean, the fact that we are talking about this decision from the Supreme Court, which is just a constitutional decision, when what we should be talking about is that there's a lot of things that we can be doing, like voter ID. Like every time you walk into a restaurant or a club, you have to show your ID. How about you have to show your ID to vote? That's not anything that's crazy, and that's what we should be talking about.
Certainly one of the votes on Capitol Hill right now. Quickly before I let you go, the position of Attorney General remains open. You still have an acting in front of your title. Are you hoping to drop that acting title and become the Attorney General?
I am happy to do my job. No matter, President Trump can ask me to do whatever he chooses, and I'll be happy to do my job. The Department of Justice, all of our employees are working hard every day to restore justice, and we will continue to do that. I love my job no matter what it is.
All right, Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche, thank you very much.
All right, that was Todd Blanche, man, chat. Y'all rate that interview by Todd Blanche 1 through 10, man. How do y'all feel about that interview with Todd Blanche? Rate it 1 through 10, chat. Have we hit 100 likes here, chat? Double tap the screen, shut the live out, chat. We're also 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Be sure to subscribe to the channel while you're here.
This Sunday, New York Times columnist Maureen Dowd.
This is business.
But something you've heard him say in private. What do you think he means when he says that?
I do not know. I think it's an effort to try to undermine the credibility of the investigations that the special counsel is conducting, but beyond that, I don't know.
Did you, when you first met with him that first time in Trump Tower?
Good night, Ms. Bones.
When did your antenna go up? Did you treat him suspiciously? Were you going into that meeting concerned based on other stuff you knew?
Yeah, I was concerned.
Matter of fact, chat, we'll come back to this. We finna go watch that Wall Street Journal interview because it is a little long. We'll come back to this. I got to get to that Wall Street Journal interview with Tucker. It's going viral right now. I haven't watched any of it, chat. Have y'all watched any of this interview with the Wall Street Journal? Hit the like button, chat.
With Trump, and sort of like you're in this kind of dreamland. It's like smoking hash or something. It's interesting. Very interesting.
I'm Lulu Garcia Navarro, and I'm in Maine
Fair
to
use.
interview Tucker Carlson. Start, though, in the lead up to the conflict. You said that you spoke to the president several times.
I don't know, chat. It's something about the stripes that she has on, and then the little plaid shawl, and then the tablecloth, bro. Like, I don't know. It's too much damn clashing going on. It's a lot going on with that striped shirt, the damn plaid picnic shawl, and then the tablecloth. It's a lot going on, bro.
About the plan to attack Iran before it actually happened on February 28th. I'd love to hear a little bit about that. Was it just you and the president?
Thank you.
Meetings?
Never.
Can you just
It's
give me a sense
never.
of what was going on there?
Well, I've been speaking to him about Iran for 10 years.
Right.
Literally since 2016, maybe 15, because there was enormous pressure on him, as there has been on many presidents, to regime change Iran. And we know, based on our experience with a much smaller country, Iraq, that's a tall order, and it doesn't necessarily lead to a place you want to go. It's not good for the United States. So anyway, and Trump knew that, and that was one of the main reasons, actually, that I supported him during my time at Fox News and campaigned for him, and so it was really central to.
All right, chat. What's y'all opinion on Tucker Carlson at this point? Do y'all have a favorable or unfavorable opinion of Tucker Carlson? Favorable or unfavorable?
To my views of Trump's candidacy and presidency. And so when it became clear in June that we were starting down this road toward a regime change war with Iran, I was just, I was baffled. I was very upset, not because I have allegiance to Iran, but because I thought it would be terrible for the United States, as it has been. Worse even than I imagined. But I could see exactly where this was going, and he was under enormous pressure to do this, once again, as all presidents in my lifetime have been. So we talked a lot in June. He embarked on this effort to take out Iran's nuclear program, which was really just the opening salvo in a regime change effort. He knew that. I told him that. Charlie Kirk told him that. We did it. We got out. And then it became clear this winter, in January, that we were moving toward this thing that we're in now. And I was just absolutely panicked about it.
Did he explain to you why he wanted to take the country into war? I mean, I'm just trying to understand the dynamics of that conversation. What was he
Well, there were
saying?
multiple conversations.
Right.
I flew to Washington 3 times in the month before, 5 weeks, 6 weeks before, and met with him in the Oval Office alone, and people file in and out with the White House Chief of Staff, the Secretary of State, et cetera. Had lunch with him on one of those occasions.
I mean, damn, at this point, they all taking money. It's like they get accused of taking Qatari dollars. They get accused of taking Russian dollars. Remember, they said all of those mainstream podcasters getting paid by the Russians. Then now they got the Israeli shekels everybody's taking. They're getting accused of taking. It's like, damn, everybody's taking them. The gambling deals, it's like everybody's taking the money.
And then I spoke to him by phone many times on this topic, and
hit the like button, chat.
Begin almost every conversation with, do you want Iran to have a nuclear weapon? To which I said, well, I'm sort of opposed to nuclear weapons. I don't want nuclear weapons. I don't want Israel to have a nuclear weapon.
Yeah, they don't say Tucker's on the Israeli money. They say Tucker's on the Middle Eastern money. They say him and Candace are paid by Qatar. They say Shapiro and Tatum are paid by Israel. They say Benny Johnson and what's that other guys paid by Russia.
Weapon. I don't want anyone to have a nuclear weapon. It doesn't seem like a good thing. But that's not the question. The question is, what do you do about it? And that was kind of the end of the rationale for doing this. He never seemed enthusiastic about it, ever. And I would say, well, here are the potential effects of this. Obviously, the geography of Iran being the most important fact of Iran. Iran is not a military power. It's an economic power. That was obvious because it controls the greatest span.
You gonna tell me to come in here and talk about Iranian people? I don't want to fucking talk about Iranian people right now. You see me in here in the middle of this damn interview, breaking it down with Tucker Carlson and the Wall Street Journal. You gonna come in here and tell me talk about Iranian people? No. How about that? No.
And of coastline along the Persian Gulf, which is the source of a fifth of the world's energy, et cetera, all well known now, and well known to him then. And he, I think, perfectly understood the consequences. But
why was he taking your calls then? Because if he knew your position and he understood the perils, I mean, was he trying to convince you to back the war?
No. He made no effort to convince me at all, other than to say it's going to be all right. Everything's going to be okay. And I just didn't feel that way. None of this, I should say, was about Trump or my relationship with Trump or my feelings about Trump or his hair color.
You're going to say you aren't human, you know human right. Yes, I'm just not finna stop my show to talk about what you want to talk about right now. I've been taught having a damn show. I'm live for 55 minutes right now. You want to come in here off the fucking humbug because you swiped up on the live and changed the direction of my show. That's not how shit go over here. What kind of entitled shit is that?
Or anything like that. I just didn't want the United States to go to war with Iran. And my strong feeling by the end of those conversations, which was the last one was probably a week before it began, the war began, was that he felt he had no choice and that he was resigned to it. He was unhappy about it. He didn't seem enthusiastic at all. There was no effort to say, once we do this, the United States will be at peace, we'll be safe, we'll be more prosperous. There was none of that. Zero.
I mean, you speak to many people in the administration, and I'm just trying to understand the fault lines.
You said too much cussing, kiddo. This a grown folks show. Put them kids up. That's why I go live at nighttime. Y'all don't say that to any of the other nighttime shows, man. This is a nighttime show. This is the grown folks club. I'm sorry. If you can't handle it, swipe up on the live. You don't like a little cut, I'm sorry. I ain't got time to coddle y'all, man. I got my own kids. Man. It's a nighttime show, man. Put them kids up.
I mean, who was for the war? Who was against it while all this was being discussed?
I mean, I'm guessing to a certain extent. I do talk to a lot of people there still.
I see you, Lala.
I don't work there, so I don't.
Sure.
It's hard to really know. There are people with a long record of making bellicose noises about Iran. They still work there, so.
You said grown folks don't need to cuss. Grown folks do what the hell they want to, Jeb. Now, how about that? Grown folks get to do what the hell they want to. Right? Don't you remember being a kid like, I can't wait till I'm grown. I get to do what I want. Well, guess what? I made it there. A lot of my friends and associates didn't make it to be grown. I'm grown. I do what the hell I want. You mad? Be mad.
Specifically, the Secretary of State / National Security Advisor has, said for many, many years Iran is the greatest threat we face, which is a ludicrous statement. But has
Talking
said
about Marco Rubio.
That'd be correct. But that said, I didn't hear a single time from anyone, including from the Secretary of State.
Hit the like button, chat.
Any enthusiasm for doing this. My strong impression, and I could be wrong because I don't work there, is that no one in the building was pushing for this, at least overtly, that all the pressure was coming from outside. Constant calls from donors and people with influence over the president, well-known Rupert Murdoch, Mary Mandelson, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then a small constellation of, I guess.
Just saying says you're an idiot. You're a cuck. Since we're throwing insults, you're a cuck. How about that? Just saying.
They'd be called influencers, beginning with Mark Levin, but there were others, Sean Hannity, pushing the president to do this and telling him that you will be a figure out of history, you will save and redeem Israel or something. I think that was the case they were making. And I didn't hear of anybody making the case that this would be good for the United States. I don't think that was ever a conversation.
I mean, there's been a lot of speculation about the president's mindset during this period.
Yes.
And part of it is, of course, about what happened after Venezuela and the successful, in their view, operation there, removing Maduro from office. And that he felt sort of emboldened by that.
That's what I'm saying, J-Bo. You see how this shit go? Just saying, coming in here talking a little too much. Big Niche had to wipe his nose, get him up out of here, send him to the gulag. He won't be back. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. Coming here with some damn decorum, man.
The success of that operation.
And that's the thing. He coming here calling me a bootlicker. He don't even know what I'm about. If he would have read the damn description of the channel, he would have got a little synopsis. But he comes in here passing judgment, gets his damn nose wiped. Now he got to sit in the corner, can't comment, can't type, can't do anything but just listen to this shit. That's what goes on in here, man.
That he felt that this was going to be similar, that he underestimated the Iranians and what they might do in response to an attack.
Yeah, I don't believe that. I think the Venezuela operation allowed him to retreat into a kind of fantasy in which he told himself this is going to be easy, but I don't think he believed that. And I should say, having spoken to him a lot in this calendar year, I detected no evidence at all of dementia.
Crazy. People coming here calling me a bootlicker because I got an American flag and a fucking rack and a crossbow. I mean, and a bow up there, right? A bear bow. They come here calling me a bootlicker. Now, if I would have had an Iranian flag, a Mexican flag, a fucking African flag, a Jamaican flag, an Australian flag, a UK, they wouldn't say shit. They wouldn't say a motherfucking thing. They wouldn't say nothing.
Until decline. You hear people say, well, he's gone, soft. That was not my impression at all. Trump is not well informed on a lot of topics, for sure, is proudly ignorant on a lot of topics, but he has kind of remarkable powers of insight into people and power dynamics. Like, you don't get to be president by accident. The guy's smart in the ways that matter politically, and my strong read was that he was doing this against his will. Famously, the head of the Counterterrorism Center, one of the top intel officials in the country, Joe Kent, resigned shortly after the war began and said exactly the same thing. I think this decision is connected to a series of seemingly disconnected events, all of which revolve around violence, and we need to find out more about how this happened. And he was, of course, dismissed and threatened with an FBI investigation, and no one kind of followed up on that. And again, I don't know the answer, but this was not a normal decision-making process, and my strong impression was.
So they're saying that Tucker thinks Trump is using casting spells, chat. A lot of people are saying Tucker's gone off the deep end. A lot of people are saying Tucker's spot on. But Tucker is making claims in his interview that Trump is casting spells on the people around him. So I want to know, chat, how do y'all feel about that? Chat, we just hit 1 hour mark. We 25 likes away from the next like goal. Let's get the likes up. Double tap that screen for me, and let's get the likes up. Do you think Trump is casting spells, chat? Yes or no? Do you think Trump is casting spells? Casting spells.
That Trump was more a hostage than a sovereign decision maker in this.
Well, so tell me what you're getting at when you say the president of the United States, the most powerful country in the world, had no choice.
I don't know what I'm getting at. I'm just telling you what I observed. He seemed, and that's kind of the question. And what I'm really fascinated by is the lack of curiosity on display into how exactly this happened. What are the mechanisms by which a guy who's supposedly sovereign, in charge, granted this authority by voters?
So they said that when Trump is talking about keeper of the bees, I watched the guy break it down, and like the way he was saying is the bee terminology is for the children of master masons. And they were saying that Trump might have some shit going on, chat. I'm not gonna lie. I'll pull that video up here in a minute, man. I haven't done my research, but I did watch that clip, and he was making some crazy connections.
Tens of millions of them can't make a decision in the country's interest or even in.
And then one of the major stories today was that a cancer patient was getting evicted, and a guy, a beekeeper, released his bees on the police that was trying to evict this guy out of his house, and like 1,000 stings. One cop had to go to the hospital. It was crazy. I don't know, Chad, what's up with all this bee terminology? They said when King Charles came, they opened up the bees, and then people were saying, oh no, it was Michelle Obama who brought the bees. I don't know. It's something with this bee shit, Chad.
His own interest. He knew, and I know he knew because I talked to him about it directly, that the consequences, potential consequences, were profound and profoundly bad. The end of his presidency, to start, which I think it has proven to be. He knew that. And he wasn't. This is my read, and I could be completely wrong. I don't know what's in his head, and I don't want to overstate my knowledge at all, but this is my strong perception on the basis of many conversations on this topic. He felt.
Chat, Carlos, leave the live and come back. Everybody else's chat is rolling. The chat is rolling, Carlos. That's your shit. What it do, Money? Y'all shout out the Money, man. Money blessed my game yesterday, man. Shout out the Money for looking out for your boy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out the Money. Everybody drop the money bag emoji in the comments right now. Show Money some love for supporting the channel last night, man. Money supported the channel in a major way last night, man. Drop the money bags for Money, man.
He had no choice. And he said to me, everything's going to be okay. Because I was getting overwrought. Don't do this. The people pushing you to do this hate you. They're your enemies. This will destroy you. This will gravely harm our country. We've got kids. I'm hoping for grandkids. Let's not go there. And he said, it's going to be all right. And he said, do you know how I know that? And I said, no. He said, because it always is. And I do think there's a kind of, Teddy Rooseveltian optimism there, but that's not really what it was. And this is my read. That was more a kind of justification from a man who feels he has no choice. And that is my strong view.
What's up, Alpha?
And not just my strong view, the view of others who were around him and involved in this deliberation, to the extent it was a deliberation, which is not much.
All right, Chad, I'm going to ask y'all a question, man. Do y'all think Trump can go another 7 years, man? 6 years, Chad? If Trump so happens to be able to run again, Chad, do y'all think Trump has it in him to go another 6 years, Chad? I'm just going to be honest, Chad. 6 years, I'm going to be knocking on 40. I'm going to be damn near a 40 ball, Chad. I ain't going to lie.
Much.
Who are the other people around him who had that view?
I can't speak for the views of others, but I will just say once again that I never saw, nor did I hear about anybody who works for the Trump administration, anybody who was enthusiastically pushing this war on Trump, going in and being like, you know what? You want to be a truly great, you want to make this country great?
You said, how would he get another term? So they're trying to delegitimize the 2020 election. He also didn't put his hand on the Bible when he was sworn in. It's something to do with him not putting his hand on the Bible, the consecutive terms, and they're going to try the voter roll shit. They're saying that they had, I believe it was North Carolina had 20 or it was 20 or 40,000. I forget the number, but dead people on their voter rolls. They're saying one of those Carolina states had 20, 30, 40,000 dead people on their voter rolls. So they're going with that. He didn't put his hand on the Bible when he swore oath, and it's something else. I forgot.
Right again, we need a regime change effort in Iran. And instead, there were a lot of cowardly people, as there always are, and Trump engenders cowardice in the people around him through intimidation. And there is a kind of quality that he has that's spellbinding, and I think it
What's up,
literally
Drew?
is a spell. And the effect is to weaken people around him and make them more compliant and more confused. And I've experienced this myself. You spend a day with Trump, and sort of like you're in this kind of dreamland. It's like smoking hash or something.
Look at Rod Dooley, 1938, talking about another maggot gone wild. Rod Dooley, I know that's your real birthday. You in here from 1938. You damn near 100 years old in here calling me a maggot. Haven't even listened to the damn convo or what I'm about or anything. Didn't go to the... You damn near 100 years old. The hell is you talking about, man? Sit your ass down.
I think it's interesting. Very interesting. And there may be a supernatural component to it. I'm not a theologian, but it's real, and anyone who's been around him can tell you it's real. But whatever the cause, no one around him was weighing in strongly, as far as I know, on either side, for or against. But people from the outside were strongly weighing in, calling him constantly.
I'm going to give an alternative view on what may have happened.
Yes.
Which is...
And you may be right, by the way, because I don't want to overstate what I know.
Sure. I just want to due diligence. We've seen the president...
That's what I'm saying, chat. Like, it need to be age limits on this shit. Like, he in here from 1938 talking crazy, chat. These elders, not the elders we used to, chat. The elders not the same no more. He damn near 100 years old in here calling me a maggot. Like, he just know what the fuck going on. Man, these elders ain't the same no more, chat. I promise you. The elders of today are not the elders of yesterday, man. They're just not, bro. It's different. They look different. I don't know, man. Viagra changed the game, bro. Viagra came through, bro, and just switched everything. It's for 1938 in here talking crazy. What the hell is going on?
In his second term, be much more interested in foreign policy, as many presidents are, much more open to taking action, not only in Venezuela, talking about Cuba, wanting the Nobel Peace Prize, weighing into situations in which he wasn't terribly interested in his first term.
For sure.
And so...
That's real.
Could that not be part of this?
It's a huge part of it. And there's no question about that. And all presidents decide at some point that they're not interested in running the United States because it's hard. And how do you fix Baltimore
It did,
and
Drew.
Indiana? And what do you do about homelessness in Los Angeles?
It did, Chad. Viagra did change the game. Viagra, it brought the confidence back, man. It's like, damn, but like, what? How can I? It's like, what? Viagra. He 1938. He pops a blue pill. He's in the game. He pops a blue pill. He's in the game, Chad. A little Bengay. Man, listen. 1938. A blue pill and a little Bengay and a hot shower. Man, he's in the game. He's in the game.
Angeles, like, these are hard questions. We can't even make Head Start work. Despite, many billions and a lot of sort of well-meaning people spending their lives on it, can't make it work. So these are hard problems, and I think it's universal. It's a universal experience among American presidents, but also among U.S. senators to decide, like, I'd rather run the world because the details are opaque. I don't speak these languages. I can seem, well, first of all, it's a display of male power. Send the bombs in, kill the bad people. But moreover, you get to feel like I did something, and that's important. And I get it. And this is, again, as you wisely note, a process that all presidents tend to go through.
What's up, Carol?
And so Venezuela, Cuba, I object to both of those efforts very strongly, but neither one, in my view, risks the future of the United States in the way that the Iran war now does. And so it's a big deal. But because it is, by the
You said what part of white supremacy do I enjoy the most? Shit, it was probably prohibition. That's when motherfucker got to making it. That's when people got to making moonshine and shit. Chat. That's when the moonshiners came around. Y'all know I'm from the South. I like a good boot. You know what I'm saying? A good moonshine. I guess that's the best part of white supremacy. Hell, prohibition came to damn moonshiners. Hell.
By the way, a contiguous neighbor of Iraq. And because Trump spent years talking about what a terrible idea the Iraq invasion was, in fact, defined his candidacy in 2016 on that point, it's hard for me to believe that he just sort of organically reached this place at the end of February. He's like, oh, I think it's a good idea. He did not think it was a good idea. Shutting down a fifth of the world's oil and gas? Of all people, Trump knows that's bad.
You said he's a hostage just now. You told the BBC he's a slave to foreign interests.
Correct.
He gonna say, thanks. Your lack of integrity and intelligence is clear. Hold my nuts, Shop 1970. You asked me what was my favorite part of wild supremacy. You didn't even say this shit right. So because I'm witty and I got a little, you know what I'm saying, a little entertainment for the chat, and shit, I'm from Arkansas. It's moonshiners around this motherfucker. I had an answer for you. You really didn't want me to answer your question. You wanted me to ignore you and just act like these other streamers that you type at all day and just don't say nothing. I gave you an answer. The answer was better than you thought it would be, and you got pissed off. Now you in your chest. Go cry in the corner, Shop.
So I just want to ask you to be sort of explicit. I mean, Trump is being held hostage by whom? Or by who,
Benjamin
or by
Netanyahu
what?
and by his many advocates in the United States. And we know that not simply because Trump started the war on February 28th, but because he couldn't get out of it. He declares we're having a ceasefire. This was 4 weeks in. He says we're having a ceasefire and we're having these talks and they're going great and we're going to open the strait. And Iran says, yeah, one of our conditions is Israel's got to pull back from southern Lebanon. You can't use the Iran war as a pretext for stealing more land from a sovereign country. That's not your country. Like, no. And it's not just Iran who felt that way. I think the rest of the world's like, what are you doing? I thought we were, fighting the great existential threat, Iran, and now you're taking the opportunity.
You said an entertainment channel like Fox. Obviously, your ass entertained. You still here. Nobody called for you, Shop. Nobody said, hey, yo, Shop, come over here, plug lot. No, nobody fucking invited you. So stop acting like we just called for you over here. Stop acting like your presence was warranted and or wanted. You know what I'm saying, Shop? I don't know, man. Nobody. Who knows Shop, y'all? Who the fuck invited him over here, man? Who plus one is this, man? Whose plus one is this, man?
Opportunity to take Lebanon shore the Litani River and bombing downtown Beirut. Like, what is this? Anyway, this was all very well known. And within hours of Trump announcing this, Israel publicly, in a way that was designed to get the attention of everyone, including the Iranians, starts killing civilians in Lebanon. Now, what was the point of that?
Oh, they said, Shell, you brought Shop over here? Shell, now let me find out Shell brought Shop over here. Shell, you know how this shit go at the barbecue, man. Ain't no plus ones and shit, man. You know how this shit go. Shell, they said you brought Shop to the barbecue, Shell. I don't know, man. We gonna have to figure some shit out, Shell. I don't know, man. This shit crazy.
Not to secure the Israeli homeland. The point of that was to end any talk of a negotiated settlement, to keep this going until Iran was destroyed and chaotic.
Yeah, Shell, you should have told him, like, when y'all was walking up the driveway, you should have told him, hey, look, man, I know it's cool over here and shit. Everybody's going to be having fun. But Plug, man, hey, don't fuck with Plug, man. Plug will wild out on your ass and make it a spectacle. Have everybody laughing at you. Have you want to go sit in the corner and cry and shit, man. He might pull out the melatonin, put your ass to sleep, tell you to have a good night, man. Get the fuck up out of here, man. Why didn't you have that talk with him, Shell, on the way up here, man? On the little cobblestone road and shit. You were supposed to give him the rundown, man. We don't play no games over here, Shell.
Which is the Israeli goal. I'm not attacking Israel by saying that. Their goals are different from ours. They're a different country.
Yeah, they would argue, of course, that what they are doing is neutralizing the threat that has been persistent in Lebanon through Hezbollah.
Oh, okay. But, I mean...
Oh, you said in Shop defense, You said in shop defense, I think he was talking about you, not Trump, plug. Oh, Carlos, you try to throw a life jacket? Carlos ass in timeout for throwing a life jacket. Carlos, we don't need you to be out here trying to save nobody. You my mind, Carlos. Carlos in here trying to throw a life raft to a motherfucking stranger, chat. I'll tell y'all about how we always get infiltrated. See, this how my Discord be getting infiltrated and shit in my mind. Look at Carlos, bro. Carlos don't know this man from a can of paint, and he trying to go against the grain. Carlos going against the grain, man. Carlos asking timeout, chat. We'll holler at him in a minute. You don't you go against this shit, Carlos.
1982. Okay, so that was 44 years ago. They've had a lot of experience in Lebanon, a lot. They've had a lot of time to fix Lebanon. They killed Nasrallah. They blew up Hezbollah with explosive pagers. Like, they've done a lot since October 7th in Lebanon. They chose that moment to derail the negotiations, and they've done this repeatedly. And so my perspective as an American is, look, we're the United States. We're a country of 350 million people. You are wholly dependent on us. You're a country of 9 million people with no natural resources. I'm not against you.
All right, chat. All right, chat. I had fun with that. All right. Shop, welcome in. This is my channel. We do have fun over here. We do get to the real issues. Carlos took up for you. I put his ass in timeout. We have fun. You know, this is a very doom and gloom world, so we do try to have a little entertainment. We bring the news. We talk about real conversations. We do a lot of live polling. That's what I really do over here, is a lot of live polling. But we do have fun. This is not C-SPAN. This is not your regular shit. Like, I'm going to cuss your ass out, put you in the... We have fun. Hey, it's what we do over here, man. Carlos, you made it out of timeout. Don't do that shit again.
But, like, we're not co-equals here. But the point I'm making is Trump could not restrain Netanyahu. Netanyahu is the one person Trump could not say, hey, settle down, or we'll just defund you and your country will collapse in about 10 minutes, which is true. Israel can't defend itself without the United States, despite whatever propaganda you may have heard. So, again, it's not an attack on Israel. It's an attack on American leadership for not constraining its partner in a way that helps the United States. Trump said, I want a negotiated settlement. Israel stopped the settlement. Trump refused to even criticize Netanyahu in public. Are you joking? That's slavery. That is total control of one man by another. And it's, that's between Trump and Bibi and God, as far as I'm concerned. But as an American, that's our president, our elected president, whose job is to protect our country and our interests and our economy. And he is looking out for Israel first. That's outrageous. And no amount of like, oh, you're an anti-Semite, which I'm not, and I'm never going to be.
All right, that's a good question, Chad. With all of the recent developments, do you think Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite? Yes or no? Do you think Tucker Carlson is an anti-Semite? With me, Chad, it's borderline. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. With me, I'm just going to be honest. I'm not going to say Tucker's an anti-Semite, but I'm not going to say he's not. I'm just going to be honest with you, Chad. It's a little up in the air with me.
Is going to stop me from noting...
Nick might just hate Jews. I'm not going to lie. He might just hate them.
That's outrageous. It is outrageous.
Before we just move on, I am curious about this one point, which is obviously Israel has tried to exert its influence on a number of presidents. Many presidents have been asked to decapitate Iran, to do a joint military operation in the Middle East, which this is the first time really that this has happened, where the United States and Israel are doing a joint military operation against a Muslim country. And I'm just wondering why you think other presidents didn't have that influence, because they obviously were subjected to the same pressures, the same donors, the same Bibi Netanyahu who's been there since the 90s. I mean, what do you think has materially changed that made Trump more susceptible to that influence?
I mean, that's kind of the question that I would...
You said keep kissing that wall. I'm not even going over there. What are you talking about, kissing that wall? What the fuck do I need to go to the Middle East for, man? I'm a black American from the South. What the hell am I going to the Middle East for? Talking about kissing that wall. What wall, man? The hell I'm going to the Middle East for, man? I'm a black guy from Arkansas, man. Let's cut the shit. Cut it out. Cut it out.
would like answered. And I don't know the answer, as noted. But, one argument could be, well, Trump is just...
I'm not going to the Middle East. I'm not going over there to see Mecca with the black box, man. I'm not going over there. I'm not going over there to the Holy Land, man. I'm not going to Iraq, Iran, man. I'm not going to Syria. I'm not going no motherfucking where over there. Not Lebanon, not Gaza, not none of that shit. For what? Y'all, to experience, Plug, it's a good experience. Man, I can experience my life in the motherfucking pond, chat. I promise you, with a nice lawn chair, chat, a little pail of red worms and some crickets, man. I'm straight on the Middle East, bro. What the fuck I'm going over there for?
Uniquely weak. Okay. But that was not my perception. I think Trump obviously has weaknesses. And a lot of his posturing is compensatory, of course. I'm not interested in psychoanalyzing Trump, but that's just clear. But what was it about this moment that allowed a foreign leader to have this level of influence over an American leader? And I don't know the answer, but again, I think it's worth finding out. I would also note that, and this is not a defense of Trump, hardly, this is the single most foolish thing any American president has ever done, in my opinion. I say that with sadness.
And I'm going to be honest with you, Chad. I don't think I might not go anywhere. I might not go to another country, Chad. I couldn't travel for all of this time when I was a felon. Now that I'm not a felon anymore and I can travel, Chad, I just don't fucking want to, man. They got travel advisories out for Americans throughout the world. What the fuck am I going somewhere for? I'm a black American. They gonna know I'm not African, nigga. They gonna know I'm not. They gonna know exactly where I'm from. The fuck I look like going up? Where I'm gonna go? Where I'm gonna go, chat? Mexico? For what? They in the damn Civil War. Where I'm gonna go? The UK? They say the Eiffel Tower ain't even pretty no more. Where the fuck I'm gonna go? Let's be honest. Where? The Dominican Republic, they robbing and drugging niggas. Where am I gonna go?
But many American presidents have put Israel's interests before our own. I would say the Iraq War was a very obvious example of that. I mean, Cheney's office was completely controlled, and I knew almost all of them by people who were putting Israel's interests above America's interests. So I think the Iraq War was, to a great extent, a product of that. And I believe that Trump felt exactly the same way, because I talked to him about it a lot. So, like, what?
I'm not even a mad person, Jeb. Jeb, I think you mad, Jeb. I'm gonna be honest with you, Jeb. I don't know, Jeb. I don't know, man. I don't know, Jeb. Jeb might be one of those I got a black friend kind of guys, man. Jeb might just be one of those I got a black friend kind of guys. And Jeb, if you're one of those kind of guys, it doesn't bother me, you know. If you're one of those I got a black friend kind of guys, it doesn't bother me. You know, it is what it is. I'm from Arkansas.
What changed about Trump? What changed after 10 years, more than 10 years, of telling us our leadership is weak, they act against our interests, they're stupid, they're foolish, they're bought off by foreign powers and by domestic donors? I mean, that was Trump's case. That was his whole pitch. That's why he got elected. To switch on something this big in the space of a few months, I mean, that bears some examination. That's all I'm saying.
I want to note, in 2020, when President Trump killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani, you went on your Fox show and said, and I'm going to quote here, there are a lot of awful, bad people in the world. You can't kill them all. It's not our job. And you asked, why are we jumping into another quagmire from which there is no obvious exit? But it wasn't until President...
I was not heralded for saying that. I don't think I've ever been more criticized. I just really quickly note, I'm opposed not simply to foreign interventions, as you said, I mean, most of them anyway, those not undertaken in self-defense. I'm against the whole frame. I'm against the idea that Hezbollah and Hamas are at the center of our domestic conversation, like they're the big problems we face. They're not. They're not a bigger problem than, like, the behavior of Citibank. I'm sorry. Credit card debt is a much bigger problem than Hezbollah will ever be. So stop with this. Stop with the brainwashing. This is bonkers. I live here. I'm almost 57. I've lived here a long time.
What's up, New Orleans?
Hamas and Hezbollah, while they're not getting my endorsement, are not relevant to the experience of most Americans. So, like, once you start thinking like that, you betrayed your country.
So it wasn't until President Trump threatened Iran's civilian infrastructure with a profane Truth Social post this past Easter Sunday that you actually started quite explicitly speaking out against him.
Yeah, you can't attack Jesus. How's that?
Well, in a monologue on your show, you said, "How dare you speak that way on Easter morning to the country?" Tell me what you were responding to right then, because it really is, I think.
See, this the thing. This is what I deal with, chat. It's like, it be shit like this. It be the comments, bro. It be the onlookers and the ongoers. It's like, Jeb want me to be into it with somebody so bad. Like, Jeb comes in here and he throws these little shots, right? And he wants me to mention a certain person and be into it with him. I don't got no problems with that guy, man. He's doing his thing. He's going live, man. Hey, I don't have no problem with him, Jeb. Stop trying to make it a problem, man. Like, it's some hating ass YouTubers out here and bloggers, but he's not one, man. I fuck with that guy, man.
I think a seminal moment for you in terms of publicly breaking with the president.
So I will say, I don't do monologues. That's ad lib. So that's just, I didn't write it. I don't have notes. It's just like, that's how I feel. So it's probably not as coherent as it should be. But that was really just an emotional reaction to the experience of waking up on Easter Sunday, the holiest day on the Christian calendar, and a day of joy and hope, literally the resurrection of Jesus, and seeing Donald Trump using profanity, threatening to murder civilians. I mean, that's a crime. That's a moral crime. So to brag about that and then to mock Islam, I don't think you should mock people's faith. I don't care if it's Judaism or Christianity or Islam, but it's especially galling as a Christian I voted for Trump in 2024. And one of the main, and I never vote typically, but I voted for him this last election and campaigned for him in a bunch of cities with him because I felt that there was clear persecution of Christians in this country, people of faith. And it was demonstrable. And I felt that Trump, and I base this on his explicit promises, would be a protector of, never thought.
Hey, y'all stop blocking the trolls. Let them ride, AJ. Let Freedom Ring says, plug, how many butter biscuits did you get to sell out the American people? I ain't sold no fucking body out. You need to be watching these other people. Go get in another motherfucking chat that said they sold you out. I ain't sold you out, nigga. I'm trying to help you get back, nigga. I'm trying to help you shake back like you just fucked up the re-up money, man. Do you not realize that? You not realize that you're bought and sold out on every corner. You talking about let freedom ring. Why don't you say anything about the executive order on AI? Why you don't get on that shit? You talking about I sold it out. I go on here every night talking about our privacy rights. I get on every night talking about them trying to fuck with the kids. I get on here talking about a lot of different things. And for you to say that I sold you out, I mean, why the fuck are you here? Why are you here? This is the thing, Chad. This is how I know I'm really close to making it. We damn near gonna make it because at this point, I have people in here who really don't like me. They hate to see my face, but they will sit in this motherfucker for the full 4 hours. They will sit in this bitch for a full 4 hours. I'm talking 240 minutes, bro. Glued to the screen, knowing they don't like me. Knowing they don't like me is crazy. I mean, damn, I gotta be done made it, Chad. I mean, shit, once that shit start happening, I mean, you made it, right?
Trump was a Christian.
Oh, Drip comes through with 20 gifted memberships. Thank you, Drip, for always supporting the channel. Thank you, Drip, for always supporting the channel, man. Drip, man, you know, man, I don't know, man. It's crazy, Drip. We almost there, man. We almost there, Chad.
For a moment. But I thought that Trump, I took him at his word, would be a defender of faith, people of faith who need to be defended. And this country exists to defend them. It's in our charter. So anyway, I was just completely outraged by that.
Since that moment, you've gone even further. You recently said on your show that...
Hey, what's crazy is I know who Let Freedom Ring is, too, and it's somebody that be in here. I just put 2 and 2 together. I can tell by you type, and you ain't got your damn, you switched accounts. Y'all are never in here at the same time, and that's crazy, man. You all in the Discord. I be telling y'all we be getting infiltrated, bro. I tell y'all we get infiltrated. I tell y'all we get infiltrated, chat. It's crazy. And I'm going to tell you, man, I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm going to start treating you a little different, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. I would be lying to you to say that I wouldn't be treating you different. I'm gonna start treating you a little different. You know who you are, I know who you are, and I'm gonna treat you different. Just know that.
You'll be tormented for a long time by the fact that you played a role in getting Donald Trump elected, and you said, "I'm sorry for misleading people." That's gotten a lot of attention, as I'm sure you know.
I don't know because I don't Google
Okay.
myself ever. But
I would like to understand exactly what you mean. Can you explain?
I'll tell you what I mean. I truly believe that the baseline requirement, the ticket of admission to the conversation, is admitting when you are wrong. And I spent 10 years defending Trump on Fox News. I'd probably do it again because on the issues I agree with him. I never defended a single thing I didn't believe. But at this point, the consequences of this decision are so bad for the United States and for my family and your family that, like, you just have to say it out loud. Like,
And I be talking about this control opposition shit, chat. I be talking about this control opposition chat. And that's why I get on here. Like, over the last couple of days, y'all realize that I've been saying, like, shit, motherfuckers done crossed me and I done let them get close to me and shit. And now here we go. We right back here. It's crazy, bro.
I'm a small reason. I don't think I moved a lot of votes, but I tried to. I told people this guy will keep us out of the next Iraq. Specifically, will keep us out of a regime change war with Iran. And here we are in the middle of a regime change war in Iran where hundreds of Americans have been wounded. Some number have been killed. They won't tell us. And that's just
Nah, it
the
ain't
opposite of
Carlos,
what I
man.
said.
That's fucked up. Nah, I'm not going to speak on it, chat. It is what it is. The person know who they are. I know who they are. It is what it is. I'm not even going to talk about it no more, man. But, nah, it's none of the mods, man. It's none of the mods. Mod squad is not y'all, man. It's just crazy, though.
It happened, so I'm sorry.
So I hear you say that, but I am compelled to question it a little bit because are you simply just going public about something that you felt privately for some time? Because in 2021, through the Dominion lawsuit against Fox News, some of your texts went public.
Right.
And I'm just quoting from a couple of them. You know, you said, there really isn't an upside to Trump. You said, I hate him passionately. I mean, clearly you had some feelings of reservation about the president.
Without question.
Before this time.
There's no doubt.
So I'm just trying to understand the...
You know, I have a lot of thoughts and theories about things which, you know, may or may not be rooted in reality. So I hesitate even to spring any of my theories on you because, like, they're probably insane. But one thing that has bothered me for many years is the fact that a lot of people in Trump's immediate orbit have been hurt and really hurt, you know, gone to prison, become unemployable, publicly shamed, gotten cancer. And I just am a believer in, like, big picture.
Yeah, Carlos definitely ain't Mexican, chat. Carlos definitely ain't Mexican. Don't let him fool you. Why am I lagging? Yeah, Carlos ain't Mexican.
Assessments of things. And, you know, so you're trying to think, like, is Trump good or bad? Like, he's saying things I really agree with.
All right, chat. Let's ask the chat. Put it to a poll. Do you think Trump is good or bad, chat? Also, we got to get the 200 likes. We got to get the 200 likes. Double tap that screen for me right now. Is Trump good or bad, chat? In your opinion.
But then people around him are getting hurt. Is the country actually getting better? I don't know. It's hard to know because to some extent your vision is obscured by the intensity of some of these debates. Mine is easily obscured by that intensity. But did I have reservations about Trump? Of course. And, you know, to some extent, I sublimated them or rationalized them away or focused on areas where I agreed with him. All my fault. But I told myself, and
Yeah, chat, if y'all were gifted a membership, man, be sure to give Drip some thanks, man. If y'all were gifted a membership, be sure to give Drip some thanks. We are starting a book club. I really want to switch the book. I'm not going to lie. Right now, we got Fahrenheit 451 chosen, but I kind of really want to switch the book.
To some extent, still believe, like, it's the big decisions that matter. And I knew, because I know the Democratic leadership really well, that they're completely under the control of the same forces and that we would get a regime change war inevitably in Iran if they were elected. And so I told myself Trump is the way to avoid the really bad thing.
To come back to this moment for you, which is there's the political case against Trump that you make. But I do want to ask you about the moral case that you've been making as well. And that's a word that you've used. You know, in that monologue responding to Trump's Easter post, you said,
oh, chat, all of the new members, you got access to a bunch of emojis too. Member exclusive emojis. Members, drop the emojis in the chat. We update those emojis, supposed to be weekly, but I'm not going to lie, chat, I haven't been updating those because nobody's asked for new emojis. When y'all ask for new emojis, I update them. But members, you do have emojis that you can drop.
that Trump's comments were evil. And I just want to understand that a little bit better. Do you think only his comments are evil, or does the evil extend to Trump himself? Is he evil?
I just want to be really clear that there's a lot of evil in me and in every person. So I just don't want to, and I've certainly experienced it in myself. And
see, Tucker keeping it real right here. He said it's a lot of evil in him and in every person, Chad. And I'm going to be all the way honest with you, Chad. It can get like that, man. It can get like that, Chad. That's why I try to tell y'all, I don't want to go in that mode. Like, when shit get to going on, Chad, like the lifestyle that I lived and came from, like, I don't want to go back to that shit, Chad. Like, I don't like that. I don't like being on 10 at all times. I don't like driving a long way home, you know what I'm saying, hitting the block 2 or 3 times. I don't like getting in that mode, Chad. I really don't.
I've seen it in all people. You know, we're all capable of evil. So I want to pull back on the judgment and be very precise about what I was saying, which is you cannot mock other people's gods and put yourself in their place, period. That is a deal killer for me. That's worse than the war with Iran, in my opinion.
Yeah, but I ask because, you know, you've been talking on your show about whether Trump is the Antichrist.
I have not said that.
On your show, the day after Easter, you noted he did not put his hand on the Bible during his swearing-in ceremony as president. You said, and I'm quoting, maybe he didn't put his hand on the Bible because he affirmatively rejects what's inside that book. And then on a recent show, you went further saying, here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist?
Yeah, Chad, I'm not gonna lie, I could damn near cry right now, bro. Like, just thinking, like, how thankful I am to, like, not live the life I used to live, Chad. Like, that shit, like, fuck, bro, that shit put some age on you, boy. Like, damn, bro. Like, and when I was actively in that lifestyle, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize it was, like, so ingrained. It was just, like, a way of life. But now that I sit back and look, bro, like, I don't want to get in that mode. I hope I never had to get in that mode again, bro. Ever. I really could damn near cry, Chad.
Did not say, could this be the Antichrist? Here's a leader who's mocking the gods of his ancestors, mocking the God of gods, and exalting himself above them. Could this be the Antichrist? Well, who knows? I don't know where that comes from, but I know that those words never left my lips because I'm not sure I fully understand what the Antichrist is. If there's just one, I actually tried to understand it. I may have said some are asking that. I'm not weighing in on that because I don't understand it. Just to be totally
clear.
No,
in Revelations, obviously, the Antichrist is named in different.
Yeah, and not just Revelation, but throughout the New Testament, there are references and in the prophets as well. So, but no, I'm not speculating about that. I know that people are speculating about that, but I would say it's enough to acknowledge that Trump, like many leaders through history, is putting himself above God. But even on a more terrestrial level, like to send out a picture of yourself as Jesus has got to be a red line for Christians. How could it not be? It has to be. And I wish that Christians would speak up when he attacks Allah, when he mocks the faith of Muslims.
So to be clear, though, that was not what you were suggesting.
If I thought Trump was the Antichrist, I would just say so. If I understood what the Antichrist is, I would say so. And I don't really. I mean, I guess literally it's...
Because you've been discussing it repeatedly on your show, so I'm just trying to understand why.
What I've tried to...
So a lot of these technocrats, chat, I just learned this over the last maybe 2 weeks. We talk about the old guard and the new guard. We talk about the legacy banking system is at war with the technocrats right now for who is going to control the narrative of the world. I didn't know until a couple weeks ago that the technocrats believe that the Antichrist are those. They don't believe the Antichrist is a person or an entity or anything like that. They believe the Antichrist is an idea that oppresses technology. They believe the Antichrist is anyone who oppresses technology, who doesn't want technology to move forward, environmentalist and all that. So that's who the technocrats are calling the Antichrist. So when these people are throwing around this Antichrist word, we have to remember that different groups and different sets of people view this differently. The technocrats view the Antichrist completely different than regular people.
I mean, what do you want your audience to sort of
I want my audience
considering?
to see what's happening now in terms beyond just material. Obviously, the commodity flow through the Strait of Hormuz is, essential to the global economy. Got it. But I also think there is a world beyond our senses. Every culture and civilization has understood that from the beginning of time, and we're in this weird anomalous moment where we've been trained not to think that, but it's real. And this is a realization that's dawning on me. I mean, I wasn't thinking like this at all until several years ago. So I don't want to pretend that I'm a shaman or anything like that. I just want to make the point repeatedly, again and again and again, that there are unseen forces that act. There is a spiritual realm, and we are subject to those forces for good and bad. And I don't think that any person can deny that.
Hey, Chad, we're 18 likes away from 200. Let's get the 200 likes right quick by double tapping the screen and supporting the channel for free. We're also 25 subscribers away from the next sub goal. This is where Tucker is about to say Trump is casting spells on people, I believe. I believe Tucker's getting ready to talk about Trump casting spells.
I just want to make the point that you did say, could this be the Antichrist? And then you said, well, who knows? You did use those words. So,
man, then my apologies to you if there's video of me saying that. I guess what I'm expressing to you is it doesn't reflect exactly how I feel. That suggests a precision that I haven't arrived at. Trump is the Antichrist. Well, you'd have to define, I mean, we're sort of quibbling here, but you'd have to define Antichrist, and I know that I can't.
That's what I'm saying, chat. See, listen to Tucker. I haven't even watched this interview, chat, but this is the research I've been doing. Listen to Tucker. He's saying exactly what I just said. You have to define the Antichrist. These people who are controlling these narratives, who we are watching and seeing on TV, they all have different perceptions and perspectives of the Antichrist. So just because they're throwing their word out there doesn't mean they're talking about what the fuck you think they're talking about. They play on that. They want you to believe that, they want you to think that y'all are on the same page talking about the same shit, when in actuality, they're talking about some whole other shit. When you say, oh, I'm against the Antichrist and all of that and shit, they're going to say, I'm against the Antichrist too. But they're talking about technology. They're talking about they're against anybody who opposes technology. So they're going to act like it's buddy-buddy and kumbaya, and then when y'all get to the end of the road, they're going to tell you some other shit.
Define Antichrist, and it's not clearly defined in the New Testament or Old Testament.
So you're open to the possibility?
Listen.
I think what we're seeing is evil. It doesn't reflect exactly how I feel. That suggests a precision that I haven't arrived at. Trump is the Antichrist. Well, you'd have to define, I mean, we're sort of quibbling here, but you'd have to define Antichrist, and I know that I can't define Antichrist, and it's not clearly defined in the New Testament or Old Testament.
So you're open to the possibility?
I think what we're seeing is evil. Like, are you allowed to kill people who've committed no crime? No. Super simple. You're not allowed to do that. Under no moral standard is that allowable. All of a sudden, it's allowable. It's allowable in Gaza, and our leaders are like, yeah, no, it's
Thank you,
totally
Ken.
fine. It's not fine. But it's repugnant to the Christian understanding of the world and the human soul. Every person has a soul.
Thank you, Karen, for the gifted membership. I didn't even see it. I'm sorry, Karen. And I'm glad it went to Blackish. Blackish is the OG, man. He been around for a minute. Blackish, I hope you've been doing well, my boy. I ain't seen you in a minute. Thank you, Karen, for gifting that membership, and I'm glad it went to Blackish, man. Thank you, Karen. What's up, Just Talking? Welcome in, my boy. You all right? Everybody double tap the screen, man. Share the live out. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Right now, Tucker is doing a sit down with the New York Times. This is Tucker, a full interview with the New York Times. And Draco says, shut the fuck up. Dracos, who are you talking to? Let's get this shit out the way, Dracos. Don't nobody block him yet. Don't nobody block him. Dracos, who is you talking to? 0469, who are you talking to? I just gotta know. Because I know you didn't come in here making demands and shit.
That's the Christian view, and not just the Christian view, it's the Islamic view too. So, and it's my view.
Your Easter episode was titled...
Oh, he said the chick. All right, Draco. All right, Draco. I thought you was talking to me. We was finna have a little entertainment, man. Appreciate you, Draco, for clearing that up. Appreciate you, Draco.
...part of warning to Christians everywhere.
Yeah.
And sort of my interpretation was that you were warning other Christians sort of not to follow a false prophet.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm warning.
And that false prophet being President Trump in this case.
And Netanyahu. There are a lot of evangelical Christians who are convinced that God wants you to support Netanyahu.
I'm not gonna lie, chat. Did y'all see the clip of Trump's spiritual advisor, the woman, saying that she's been meeting with Trump and all of these high-level officials, and the stuff that she's seen is scary and it's gonna be like hell on earth or something? It was something along those lines. I'm not quoting her, but it was something along those lines. Did y'all see her saying that? Trump's spiritual advisor talking about she's been, talking to those people.
Which I find incomprehensible.
See, that's where you got it wrong, J.O. Infinity. And I'm not going to get in here to debate the Bible, but a prophet does not necessarily mean you can see the future. You could be a prophet without seeing the future, as long as you're going by the book. That's the thing. You got to go back to the book.
Christian evangelicals in this country have been a hugely important part of President Trump's coalition. Many support Israel because they believe the creation of the state of Israel fulfills biblical prophecy. They're called Christian Zionists. I will note you have said you dislike Christian Zionists more than anybody. You've said they have a brain virus. You have apologized for those comments
repeatedly. I shouldn't have said that.
Repeatedly. But would you like to see those Christians stop supporting the state of Israel in the way that they do?
Of course, immediately. On many different grounds, but it's really simple. Christians can never support the murder of innocents, period. That's just a bright red line. Find the place where Jesus is like, these people are annoying, kill them all. It's not there. So where are you getting this? Now, I'm, once again, hardly a theologian, but I just don't know. And I've asked many Christian Zionist leaders who will speak to me. Now it's just like, they won't talk to me, but I certainly asked Ted Cruz this.
Well, I'm not gonna lie, Tucker. You kind of are like radioactive right now. I'm not gonna lie, Tucker. You, Ben Shapiro, Candace, Sneeko, Nick, Myron. Shit. I'm just gonna be honest, man. You're kind of radioactive right now, Tucker. I mean, I sit down with you if you care to, hear what the fuck I gotta say. But you're kind of radioactive, my boy.
I asked Mike Huckabee this. I tried to ask Franklin Graham, but I sincerely want to know where this is coming from. It can't all be from the Book of Esther.
Yeah, I was radioactive from the jump. I got on here talking about politics with a fucking do-rag cussing people out. Of course I'm radioactive. I'm not radioactive because of my ideas. I'm radioactive because I'm a nigga on here with a do-rag cussing people the fuck out. Yeah, I mean, I know it, of course.
Well, I mean, you did have exactly this contentious interview with Ambassador Huckabee. He's the ambassador to Israel, where you talked to him about Christian Zionism for quite some time. And in that interview, it's very interesting. I'm a former Israel-Palestine correspondent. You were pressing him on if the modern state of Israel as a homeland for the Jewish people today has legal or biblical legitimacy. You were sort of questioning him on this idea, and you went round and round on this for quite some time. And I was just wondering what you were trying to get at there.
I was trying to get at an answer, which I couldn't get, and instead was accused of hate for trying to evoke an answer to a very simple question. And the question...
This is how I knew, chat, that I was radioactive, bro. I went to the No Kings protest to get like live reactions and interview people. When I had my cowboy hat on, bro, I mean, people was talking to me. I got interviewed by another channel that had 300,000 and shit. Like, it was an excellent stream. We live streamed it. I recorded it too. When I wore the do-rag out there the next time, nobody would fuck with me. I'm talking about no. Niggas didn't even want, they didn't even want to look my way when I had a do-rag on, bro. Like, I mean, like, damn, did they think I was going to rob them? Did they think I was going to tap their pockets, chat? Did they think I had a switch on me? I mean, damn, bro. Like, motherfuckers was walking all the way around, bro. Man, I got my gimbal set up and everything, but camera, man, I put the do-rag on, bro. Nobody would come around, nigga.
Question was, on what basis are you making this claim? People whose ancestors didn't live here now occupy the land. That's very common in history, by the way. I'm not even objecting to it. What I'm objecting to is the claim that it's God's will and that Israel, because of this, has the unique right to exist. Okay, where does that right come from? Well, the right comes from the Bible. Okay, well, I'm not a Bible scholar, but I've certainly read it a lot. And I said to him, what are the borders? Because my read of Genesis is that there's a big hunk of land. That's the Middle East. Does Israel have a right? Because you're referring to this text.
See, this is the thing, man. When I had the cowboy hat on, they automatically assumed that I was, just black MAGA, I guess. So they would want to talk to me for the good, the better. When I had the do-rag on, chat, I mean, like, I don't know, bro. Like, I mean, damn, bro. Like, shit, motherfuckers was really looking at me like, what is this nigga doing here? I'm just gonna be honest with you. They're like, man, what is this nigga doing here?
As the basis of the right to have that land. And he said, fine with me. So, like, on many levels, theological and diplomatic, kind of a big thing to say. The White House was annoyed that he said it out loud. I was grateful that he did, because it's good to know what the terms are. And the second question I asked, which is, okay, if Israel has a right derived from this scene in Genesis, then to whom does it apply? Who are Abraham's heirs? And he said, well, the Jews. And I said, okay. And by the way, just to be clear, these are not conversations that I sought.
All right, look, Aaron Montgomery says, please let us understand the video. I'm going to cut the video back just a little bit one time, but I'm going to tell you like this, Aaron. If you want to watch this interview uninterrupted, it's the New York Times Tucker Carlson full interview. Type that shit in, it'll pull right up. That's why I leave the title at the bottom, because I'm going to stop this video. I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to talk to my chat. I'm going to give my react. Hey, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do, man. Just being honest. So if you want to watch this uninterrupted, you can watch this via the New York Times and Tucker Carlson, man, collaboration.
Text as the basis of the right to have that land. And he said, fine with me. So, like, on many levels, theological and diplomatic, kind of a big thing to say. The White House was annoyed that he said it out loud. I was grateful that he did, because it's good to know what the terms are. And the second question I asked,
what's up, Darking?
Okay, if Israel has a right derived from this scene in Genesis, then to whom does it apply? Who are Abraham's heirs? And he said, well, the Jews. And I said, okay. And by the way, just to be clear, these are not conversations that I sought. I was never interested in this topic. Like, Israel's a country with borders and sovereignty and a seat at the UN. And it's a nation state like ours, like every country. The second you start telling me that as a Christian, I'm obligated to support the government of this country, then I have a right to ask you what you're talking about. It's that simple. So, okay, fine. I flew all the way to Israel, which I didn't want to do. And I asked him, what are you talking about? To whom does this right apply? And on what basis? Shut up, anti-Semite. Okay, now. So from my perspective, that was like the most revealing conversation.
You said, are you free to say what you want in America now? Freedom of speech. My son likes calling me a nagger because I asked him to clean his room. You need to whoop his ass. You need to whoop his ass. What's up, Game Genie? What do you mean your son's calling you a nagger? Man, whoop his ass. What are you talking about, man? Whoop his ass, man. What are you talking about? What is this even a convo for? Whoop his ass. Double tap the screen chat. We're 25 likes away from the next like goal. Be sure to hit the 3 dots at the top and make sure you got the like button hit.
I don't think I've ever had.
Why, though, were you so interested in those questions about...
Why? Because we're now in a war which is in the process of destroying the United States economy and getting Americans killed because Israel pushed the United States president, who caved. I'm not giving him a pass, but that's just a fact. That's what happened. I saw it. And Israel has that power in our Congress, not because we have so many Jews. I don't know how many Jews live in the United States, fewer than 10 million, I think, but because we have tens of millions of evangelical Christians who unquestioningly support Israel because they believe it's their theological duty to do so. So
see, y'all having too much conversation back and forth in the chat. I'm not saying whoop his ass because he's calling you a nagger. I'm saying whoop his ass because he's talking back. Whoop his ass because he's being disrespectful. Why does he feel that? Where did he muster up these feelings to just talk back and shit, calling you all kind of naggers, man? What the hell is going on? Y'all debating on what he said. I'm sitting here like, why the fuck is he talking back? Hey.
This question hangs the
Clean that
future
room
of the American economy and the lives of American service members. There's no more important question. And the effort to push me away from that question by calling me names, calling me a hater, saying I'm obsessed with Israel, okay, I would be grateful never to think about it again. I find Israel actually geostrategically irrelevant, except to the extent that we imbue it with relevance at the behest largely of evangelical Christians. So you can see there's a one-to-one correlation between these questions and the future of my country. Mike Huckabee and the people he represents have made it the nation's business, at which point it is entirely fair. In fact, it's a requirement of good citizenship to press him on what are you talking about? And he refused to answer those questions, at which point I say, as someone who's still committed to reason, you've been exposed as a fraud and or a liar.
I think one of the reasons why this was particularly notable for many people, that interaction that you had with Mike Huckabee.
You said Gaza like a prison now? Man, Gaza is not like shit. Gaza is like, man, Gaza's not like a prison for damn sure. Man, Gaza is like gravel, bro. They turned Gaza into a gravel yard, bro. They turned Gaza into some shit like none other seen before. Gaza, a parking lot full of rubble, man. Gaza's not a prison, man. That shit is, man, listen, Chad. I can't even describe it, Chad. It's I don't know, bro. I can't even describe it, bro. Gaza is outside, exactly. That's all that shit is outside. You can't even go inside nowhere in Gaza. Once you get into Gaza, that's the last end you going. You're not finna go into nowhere in Gaza. You're not going into a shop. You're not going into a church. You're not going into a house. You're not going into a building. Your ass just going into Gaza. That's about it.
And the reason you in particular got so much pushback is because there is an enormous sensitivity around Israel being the homeland of the Jewish people.
Hell nah, Gucci. Prison, you at least got a roof. In prison, you got a roof, man. These folks ain't got no roof. Man, in prison, you got a roof. Man, in prison, you not exposed to the elements, man. These folks exposed to the elements.
And the attempt to delegitimize that.
I have enormous sensitivity about the United States being the homeland of my people and the burial place of my ancestors. I have enormous sensitivity about the future of the United States. Those are my concerns. I'm not dismissing the concerns of any other group, including Israelis or Iranians or Venezuelans or anybody else. Everybody has his or her own set of concerns, but my concerns revolve around my country. And so I'm not going to subordinate my concerns and the concerns of my children to other people's hysteria, no matter what country it is.
Why do you think you get tagged so often with anti-Semitism?
Because I think there are two reasons. One is
when it comes to Gaza, when it comes to South Lebanon, when it comes to all of that chat, it's fucked up to me. It's fucked up. More so the occupation, more so just moving in, changing the names on the maps and everything. But at the end of the day, it's not my business. At the end of the day, if we're gonna be take care of America, get everything together in America for, hey man, that's not my business. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. What they got going on in the Middle East, man, is going on in the Middle East, man. It is what it is. Just like what's going on in Ukraine, man, that shit going on, man. It is what it is. Sorry, man. This shit been going on for thousands of years, man, over there in the Middle East.
I'm not an anti-Semite, and I think that's obvious. I have, and I've expressed this many times, and I'll do so again, I have temperamental and religious objections to anti-Semitism or any hate or discrimination based on bloodline that is against Christian theology. It's against my personal ethics, and I oppose it no matter who is suffering from it, whether it's whites or blacks or Jews. Nobody can be punished for his bloodline, period. I don't believe in collective punishment, unlike the Israeli government. So that's number one. I am opposed to anti-Semitism, and that's a threat.
Man, listen, man. I understand, chat. Like, y'all always leave when I get to talking like this. Hit the like button, chat. Everyone hit the like button, because I'm just going to be honest with you, chat. When y'all talking about October 7th and y'all talking about shit like that, man, listen, chat, I'm sorry. But I'm in America, man. That shit, listen, chat, maybe I'm a little desensitized. Maybe I'm a little fucked up, man. It is what it is, man. Shit is going on. Shit going on. I'm sorry. October 7th happened. I'm sorry. But what else do you want me to say? I'm trying to understand, what else do you want me to say? I'm a black man from the South. What do you want me to say? Other than I'm sorry that people died. I'm just saying, Chad. What do y'all want me to say? Then when I get on here and talk like this, y'all don't like it, because I don't pick and choose with the shit, man. It's all fucked up, but at the end of the day, I got some more pressing issues right now, man. There's some shit going on. People dying around me. Sorry.
Threat, because I'm not approaching this as someone who wants to hurt Jews. I just don't want the United States to be implicated in the crimes of other nations. And I'm not intimidated. And number two, that is a much easier conversation than answering very simple questions like, where does the right to exist come from that Israel has, that I've been told for many years has a unique right globally to exist? Where does that right emanate from? Who granted that right and on what grounds? And they can't answer the questions, and they don't want to have the conversation. So just to be totally clear, asking questions is not hate. Telling the truth is not hate. And they don't want to answer the questions, and they don't want to tell the truth. And by the way, it's not just Jews. I think I've been attacked more viciously by Christian Zionists than I have by Jews, just in point of fact. It's a kind of nice universalism to it. But I'm not intimidated. I don't know why I would be. In fact, I think it's my obligation not to be intimidated.
Can asking questions, though, stir up hate? I mean, language is powerful.
Well, sure. I mean, you could.
You said, what does he mean? People are dying around me. Exactly what I said. People around me are dying. Man, motherfuckers get dying. Shot. The health problems. You name it. Car wreck. Motherfuckers dying. What are we talking? Shit. It's not overdose. It motherfuckers is dying.
Pose attacks in the form of questions. I've certainly done that a lot, for sure. But the questions themselves hang in the air, and a legitimate question deserves an answer.
The reason I want to press on this a little bit more is that you know that there is an entire anti-Semitic worldview that has been based on the protocols of the Elders of Zion, you know, that there is like this cabal of powerful Jews that controls the world. And, you know, that book was written in the early 20th century, but it, you know, helped the Nazis, and it really has informed a lot of the views of many people today that there is, you know, this very powerful sect of Jewish people who want global war and global conflict. And I think that there is a concern that I have, and a real concern.
You said who's shooting the people around you, man? I'm gonna be all the way honest with you, man. All kind of people. Man, where I'm from, chat, it's nothing to catch an ag assault, man. Motherfuckers gonna bust that gun. I'm talking about road rage, bust that gun. Property theft, bust that gun. Into it about women, bust that gun. People are dying. White, black, Hispanic, motherfuckers is dying. I don't know what y'all thought. I don't know where y'all from, what sugar spice and everything nice kind of neighborhood y'all or city y'all from, man. Motherfuckers is dying in Arkansas, chat. Dying. And I just left Texas, and guess what? Motherfuckers was dying in Texas. Dying.
I don't mean this as something that people say to slander anyone, but just a real concern that the rhetoric where everything is blamed on Israel, where Israel has these supernatural powers almost to influence the president, to influence the previous president, George W. Bush, to enter into the Iraq War, to, you know, be involved in assassinations, etc., that it has echoes of that, and that people are genuinely concerned that it opens the door to this idea that has been debunked and has been used in, you know, absolutely vicious ways to annihilate an entire people.
I'm not quite sure what that means. Let me tell you my concerns. My main concern is the destruction of the United States. And that is in no way to minimize anyone else's concerns, but I have a right to that concern. And I will not have my own concerns hijacked. I will not submit to being told what my concerns should be.
Man, I'm going to be all the way honest with you, Esco. Like, I think that's kind of crazy as hell that you on a YouTube live and you talking about you got to walk 25 kilometers to get drinking water. How the hell is y'all? I don't know, Jay. I don't know, man. That's crazy. Esco, I don't know, man. I don't want to visit Africa either, really, Esco. I'm just going to be honest with you. You're going to have to link up in America, man. How the hell are you on? Man, don't y'all still got cards, like minute cards and shit? How the hell is you on YouTube live and you talking about you got to hike 25 kilometers to get some drinking water?
Adult man who pays his taxes. I have a right to come up with my own hierarchy of concern. And at the very top is the destruction of my country, which I've lived in for 56 years. And I know that it's not better than it was, and it's not getting better than it was. And there are many reasons for that. One of them is this war, but there are many others. And so people say, well, I'm really concerned. Well, I'm really concerned too.
If he from Arkansas, he ain't got to hike 25 kilometers to get no water, man. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Listen. If he in Arkansas, he ain't got to go that damn far to get no water, man.
Concerned that the Prime Minister of Israel and his many cheerleaders in American media, including at the New York Times, if I can say, pushed the U.S. government into a war that hurts the United States. That's my concern. And I would say that's at least co-equal with anyone else's concerns. So that's the first thing I would say. Second, as the Elders of Zion or whatever, I don't know what that is. I've heard references to it. It's like a czarist forgery or something. Look,
I guess I'm just wondering.
What I'm saying is this, chat. I'm not saying that I'm in the worst situations or it's just bad. What I'm saying is, as Americans, we have certain epidemics that are going on in America that we need to address before we go get in some other people's business that don't want us in their business. Americans don't want to be in the business. They don't want us in their business, and we got some shit to address. That's what I'm saying. Yes, I'm sad people die. I'm sad shit's going on. It's fucked up. But hey, look, we have serious epidemics here. Some serious shit going on here. We need to address this shit.
What the line is for you?
The line for me is the truth. What is actually happening?
Between criticism. I mean, this is, by the way, a very difficult line. I am in no means purporting to understand necessarily where it is. I'm curious for you where the line is between criticism of the state of Israel and how that could be perceived as feeding into anti-Semitism.
Well, it breaks my heart that it is perceived that way, and that's the product. That perception is the product of a decades-long effort to conflate anti-Semitism with any criticism of the secular government of Israel. Okay, so the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism lists 11 examples of anti-Semitism.
See, this the thing, Esco. You said academics according to whom? Academics by choice, bro. I could say the same thing for your ass having to walk 25 kilometers for some water. That's an epidemic by y'all. Why the fuck y'all ain't got no water? 25 miles of shit. This is 2026. Y'all ass ain't figured out a way to pump some water yet. Damn, you got Wi-Fi but can't pump no water to the village? Hell, same shit.
And that's been adopted globally. 40 different governments have adopted it as their standard of what anti-Semitism is. And 2/3 of the examples are criticism of Israel. So, you know, I don't get to write these standards. I also don't have to abide by them. And I reject, as ludicrous, out of hand, the idea that the criticism of a secular government is the same as criticism of an entire ethnic group, many of whom do not support that secular government, many of whom reject that secular government, and a lot of those I know personally. So you're just not going to get me on board with the lie that criticism of Netanyahu is hatred of all Jews, because it's not. And I don't care how many times someone repeats that to me. I don't care. And by the way, I've lost friends over this, and I do grieve that. People who are totally convinced that criticism...
Is it just Bibi that you're against, or if there was a different government in Israel, it
I'm
would be okay?
I'm against anything that hurts my country. Why wouldn't I be? I live here.
No, but I'm just curious, like if there's elections coming up and if Bibi gets kicked out, are you...
I took my family on vacation there.
I'm just trying to understand.
Obviously, I'm not against Israel. I never have been against. By the way, you can check the record. Before maybe 2.5 years ago, I don't think I ever... Well, I certainly never criticized Israel, but I rarely even mentioned Israel. I could give you a long list of the things that I love about Israel, particularly about Jerusalem, which is one of my favorite cities. Jerusalem and Beirut, greatest cities in the world. It kills me to see them at the center of all of this. I think the second that we ban criticism of a foreign country, well, of course, we're not free at that point. We're slaves of that other country. You know, whatever you can't criticize is the force in charge. I don't think it's, by the way, good for global Jewry to have any of this at all. If you tell 350 million Americans that it's against the law, and it's very close to against the law at this point.
Yeah, my bad, Esco, if I sounded kind of harsh, man, but I'm just going to be honest with you. We got epidemics, man. A lot of these epidemics, man, were government created. To give you an actual answer, you said epidemics by whom? This is by choice. A lot of these epidemics were created. They were operations. It's paperwork to prove it. But that was kind of crazy what you said. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I just seen a lady, bro. She said that she put water in the village for 4 racks, man. $4,000 she put water in the village, bro. Gave a whole village some water for 4,000. I'm just saying, bro. Like, shit, you got Wi-Fi and some more shit, man. You talking about y'all walking a long way to get some water, man.
It's against law to criticize Israel. How does that help the perception? Does that feed anti-Semitism? I think it does. Not as my job to monitor or regulate this stuff, but I mean, just common sense would tell you that's not good. If you want to make the case on behalf of anything, any idea, including ones I disagree with, make your case. Tell me why it's a good idea. And we're falling out of that habit and instead trying to hurt people who disagree with us. And I just will always reject that. I guess I'm the liberal.
I would say it's not exactly against the law, but I understand you're
someone
referring to
someone was just arrested. Because look, the
specific
second
things that
the second you say that
place.
criticism is the same as a threat, or words or violence, then of course it's very easy to.
You said let's donate. I mean, this what I am about to do, chat. I am trying to get the channel to sponsor one kid to go to this Austin Reeves basketball camp. Arkansas is having an Austin Reeves basketball camp, and I want to sponsor a kid to go. I think it's like a 2-day camp. I want to sponsor a kid to go to this Austin Reeves basketball camp. So we will be doing that. But yeah, no, we ain't sending no bicycles nowhere.
To arrest people as they are arrested in Great Britain. They've had hundreds of people arrested in Great Britain for criticizing Israel. I don't know why any liberal-minded, and I'm in that group, liberal-minded, you have a right to your views, I have a right to mine. I don't know why any liberal-minded person will go along with this and not say, whoa, 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 this is totally bonkers, and this is the road to totalitarianism. And I would say that about any topic.
I'm going to move on, because we've talked about some fissures that have emerged among conservatives over Israel and the war, right? You've talked
Fissures,
about,
yeah, it's sort of blown up.
Yeah. And I want to dig into that because earlier this year you told Megyn Kelly that there is, quote, a huge scramble, and you said, I'm in the middle of it to define what the Republican Party is after Trump.
Yep.
So boil down the scramble for me. Are there two sides?
Well, I lost that scramble.
Yeah, I mean, is it driven by ideas, personalities? I mean, something else? Like, what do you see happening?
Look, I mean, there have been disagreements over foreign policy within the Republican Party for, well, really since 2015 when Trump announced for president. There was no disagreement at all. It was a neoconservative party completely. I was part of that for sure. And unthinkingly and then unwillingly, but whatever. But since 2015, there's been this kind of debate like, well, you know.
Right, that's what, all right, I get what you're saying, Esco. You saying you got Starlink, you trade the stock exchange, but you can't drink water whenever you want. I understand that. What I'm saying is this. Is it your government? What is stopping you guys from the water that's 25 kilometers away? What is stopping that water from coming to your village? What is it the infrastructure problem? Like, is it why can't y'all get that water coming directly to the village in one way or another? I'm just asking. I'm just saying, maybe y'all need a GoFundMe to get the damn village some water. I mean, Mr. Beast just did a Give the World Water. He was giving everybody water. I'm just saying. Now, if you're saying it's the government or there will be some corruption, I can understand. That's what I was trying to tell you. A lot of our epidemics are caused by government corruption. When you talk about the crack epidemic, when you talk about the fentanyl epidemic, when you talk about a lot of these epidemics, even down to meth, the opioid crisis, a lot of these epidemics are government manufactured. That's what I'm telling you. So if you're saying your government, whether it be local or whatever, is stopping y'all from getting the water, I understand.
What is the appropriate use of American power? And what is our relationship with Israel? And those have been sort of sotto voce debates. But it's only with this full regime change effort against Iran that they've become untenable. Like, you can't. I mean, my own view is I'm always happy to eat with and talk with people I disagree with. Again, I guess I'm the liberal here. But there is a strong sense among the neocons who've completely taken over the Republican Party that anyone who disagrees cannot be allowed, like literally in the White House. Okay, I don't make these rules. I feel sad about it for a bunch of reasons. I would say as a political matter, the constituency for that is very small. There aren't, 150 million people in America who are really excited about the Iran war or who are ever going to be excited about that. So you're dooming your party to irrelevance when you do that. I don't know why they would want to. They hate Trump. The neocons hate Trump, have always hated Trump. I had a first row seat to this. And now they...
Yeah, I mean, I understand it when you say if it's the government. That's what I was saying, Esco. If you saying it's the government, I mean, I get it.
destroyed him. And I told him that. I said, these are people who hated you from day one. They couldn't control you. They hated you for that reason. What you said about the Iraq War inflamed them. It humiliated them, and they want to destroy you, and this war will destroy you. I said that point blank right to him. And it's true. And it's, I think, proven true now.
And what do you mean about you being in the middle of it and losing the scramble?
Well, because Charlie Kirk and I think we're the only people, I'm confident in saying we're.
And I almost called you by your real name. Freedom Ring. Your ass said people like Plug is the reason that African villages don't have water. How? It's not their fault. It's not the fault of their government. It's the fault of a nigga from Arkansas. This nigga, a nigga from Arkansas is the reason the African villages ain't got no water. A nigga from Arkansas, bro. I ain't even got 50,000 subscribers yet, but I'm the reason the villages ain't got water, bro. It's crazy.
We're the only people in June of 2025 to say to the president, this is a very bad idea. The people pushing this are trying to get you involved in a regime change war. You've campaigned against that.
How many villages you done put water in, Freedom Ring? How many villages have you contributed to? How many villages have you brought water to? In Africa. You freedom fighting motherfucker, you. How many villages in Africa have you brought water to? Are you going to have the integrity or are you going to lie? Are you going to have integrity or are you going to lie? You said more than you. How many? How many? Call in. I'll open up the phone line because I really want you to call in because I know who you are. Call in. I'm going to drop the number for Freedom Ring, and I want Freedom Ring to call in because I know who Freedom Ring is. Y'all don't. I can tell by the way they type, and I've been doing this shit for too long. Call in, Freedom Ring. How many villages have you brought water to? No, he's not going to call in because then everybody will hear the voice and everybody will know who it is. And then they'll see how ignorant. You might as well just said the shit on your main page.
Don't do this. And then on September 10th, Charlie was murdered by a lone gunman. So by the time this latest round happened in January and February, I think I was the only person who said that.
Look, chat, you see the deflection? Plug, how many PDFs did you support? None. Call in. Call in, Freedom Ring. Call in. I want to hear you. Matter of fact, you ain't got a cam up or nothing. Call in. Let's have this talk for the chat. Call in. So you see how they just deflected to that? They don't even mention the call in. Anybody else that got this much to say, a call in. Call in. You got the number or ask for the number. I know you got the number, but you can ask for it. Call in.
To Trump for a bunch of reasons. So now it's, we know who won by the effects. So this was, from my perspective, was a debate between people who thought it was wise to use American power in the way we're now using it and those who thought it was dangerous. And Trump.
This the thing, bro, chat. Like, I understand that this is the internet, but it's some people that I really have, I get them the benefit of the doubt. I let them come around, whether they agree or disagree. And they always end up doing some weird shit, like making a fake profile to throw rocks and hide their hand. Why not just say the shit on your main page? We know who it is. You know who it is. Like, come on. Like, look, come on. You have a new name on here. We've never seen it in the chat before. Let Freedom Ring 2 has never been in the chat, but yet you're talking like you've been here for months and months. Because you have. Because you have. Why not come on your main page? Like, that is hoe shit to me. That's female shit. That's bitch shit to me. Honestly.
Trump did it, so obviously he rejected my view.
I want to stay, though, with how some of this is playing out, because, as you mentioned, you were very close to Charlie Kirk before he was killed. And he started Turning Point USA, which is this very influential group among young people on the right. And you're now seeing some on the right who are questioning whether Israel had a hand in Charlie Kirk's murder. And I should say the theories that Israel was linked to Charlie's death were denied by Israel. There's been no proof of that at all. And crucially, this theory has been condemned by Erica Kirk, Charlie's widow. Do you still have a relationship with Turning Point USA?
Well, I have always loved Erica Kirk. And I met her when she was dating Charlie and thought so much of her. I know a lot of people at Turning Point. I was the headliner for a bunch of different Turning Point events. I haven't been asked to do it this year. Don't know if I will be. Never said a word against Turning Point. I think it's been a really, well, I was their headliner for a bunch of years, so obviously I supported it. I would hate to see it hijacked by its donors to become an oracle of neoconservatism. I think it'd be pretty hard to do because its members are not for that. Young people are not for that. People of draft age are especially not for that.
I mean, when was the last time you spoke to Erica Kirk?
A couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
By text. So my concern, and this is not about Erica Kirk or Andrew Colvett or any of those people with whom I've never had a crossword and hope never to have a crossword. But my concern more broadly is about the investigation into Charlie's murder, which was short-circuited by the FBI. And I'd like to know why. And I don't care to be screamed at for asking that question. It's a legitimate question, and we know that. Well, I know that for a bunch of reasons. But the public knows it because Joe Kent said it out loud and explained it. He's the head of the National Counterterrorism Center. He's an ODNI. And he was told by the FBI that he could not investigate it. And as a friend of Charlie's, I'm not going to be intimidated into saying the following, which is, on what grounds would you do that? I'm not saying the guy who's been arrested didn't pull the trigger. I'm not, there's been no trial.
He was obviously handed over by his father.
Do we know that? I don't know what I know because there hasn't been a trial yet. And again, it's like so many things. And it's not just Israel. It's not just Charlie Kirk. It's the existence of NATO or the way the economy is structured. Why is capital tax?
That's the thing, man. He not going to call in, man. Freedom Ring not going to call in, and I don't know why he not going to call in. I already done told him I'm finna start treating him different anyway. Like controlled opposition. I'm just going to treat him as such. I don't hate anybody. I'm not mad. I'm not going to remove him, but I'm just going to treat him like controlled opposition. You might well call in, get this shit off your chest. It's been on your chest for this long. Call in, get this shit off your chest, because I'm already going to treat you different, nigga. I don't trust you. I don't fuck with you no more. I don't fuck with you at all. You might well call in.
It's at half the rate of labor. Like, that's a question that bothers me. In every case, shut up. Socialist, racist, conspiracy theory. It's like, I'm just too old for that. Why don't you answer the question? That's my job.
Go on, crash out.
Do you think Turning Point?
No, I know exactly who you are. Go on, crash out. Call in and crash out, man. Go on, get it out, because I don't fuck with you no more. Go on, call in and crash out.
Influence has waned since Charlie's death?
I haven't the faintest idea. I do think that, I agree with most Americans when I say I think this war is a disaster. It's impossible to see how it helps the United States. And, I would like to see all self-described conservative groups pressure the president, as Charlie did, to minimize the damage. And I hope Turning Point is working on that. I don't know the answer, but I certainly hope they are. I can't. Yeah, so they should. I can't say confidently Charlie would be working to do that.
Obviously, Turning Point is just one organization.
Yeah, Mr. Jones, you said Freedom Ring is getting all the attention they need. They might as well give them the clips. They probably been wanting to make a channel anyway, so hopefully this will give them the little inkling they need. Maybe they can get 50 subscribers, start a little channel video, because I'm going to go and make a video about it. Fuck it. It is what it is. I'm going to go and make a video so people don't... Plug, why are you acting like that? Listen, I'm going to go back to the fucking beginning. I've been wondering where I can drop videos about. I'm just going to go back to the beginning when I started this channel. Everybody that I fucking fell out with. I think that'd be a good video. I'm just gonna give them the clout that they want. fuck it. We can just, go back and forth that way.
Trying to reach youth on the right. But you also have Nick Fuentes, the far-right white nationalist influencer who's called Hitler effing cool, who also has a huge following among young right-leaning men. How do you see Fuentes in terms of the future of the right?
It's so hard to know. I'll tell you my instinct on it. Most of the debates about race, ethnicity, religion, to some extent immigration, are less resonant long-term than debates about economics. I think the main frustration among young people is not just that the composition of the country is changing too fast, which it definitely is, but the main concerns are about the lack of economic opportunity for American young people who are totally screwed at like a more profound level than people acknowledge. Older people do not acknowledge that. I had dinner the other night with a bunch of kids from Stanford.
Oh shit, chat, hit the like button. We're 40 likes away. Y'all want me to unban everybody? It's Sunday. I unban everybody on Sundays. Y'all want me to unban everybody? Y'all want me to unban everybody, chat? If y'all want me to unban everybody, put unban in the chat. If you want me to keep their ass locked up, put locked up in the chat, man. Y'all want me to unban everybody or what?
Stanford, really smart. They're at Stanford. And one of them said, oh yeah, his best friend just graduated with a degree in computer science last year, has not been able to find a job. Stanford computer science can't find a job. So that's like a window into the total destruction of the economic opportunity for young people, and what looks to me as a non-economist like the true hoarding of capital by a tiny group of people. It looks like a very lopsided and unfair economic system that is guaranteed to radicalize young people, and not just young people, but especially young people. And so I think most future conversations politically will be about economics. I do think that. I think we're at sort of the last stage. This is the last time the U.S. has ever been.
So you see, what I'm trying to understand is you see that as Fuentes' power waning?
For sure. Well, I don't know Fuentes in particular.
You said I need to ban the velvet do-rag. Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. Wait till I start making some money. Wait till I start making. I'm going to have a plug sack do-rag. I know y'all going to be mad then. I'm going to have a plug sack do-rag. You going to be real mad then when I come in with that plug sack do-rag, ain't you?
I mean, never even... wasn't even aware of Fuentes. I mean, again, I'm just in a different world, right? Okay, so I read the New York Times or whatever. Like, I'm just older, okay? So I'm not an expert on Fuentes' reach or even what he's saying day to day. I really don't know. But he has been caricatured as a race guy, which he may be, by the way. It was like mad about the Jews or black people or whatever. But I'm just telling you, I think the future, the energy, not just on the right, but I think right and left agree on this, under 30, is that young people have been shafted by older people, particularly by the baby boomers, people born between 46 and 64. And I think they're right about that. I do think that's like the most selfish generation, most loathsome, mediocre generation this country ever produced. Not all of them, but in general, I would say.
Yeah, Chad. What's up, Conspiracy? It's been a minute, man. I thought about you the other day. I wanted to get your take on a few things, especially regarding the way AI is developing and just the system that we're in right now moving towards. It was really the Mexico banning cash payments. But I'm glad you came back through, Conspiracy. But yeah, chat, when I start getting money, y'all gonna know there will be... I'm gonna have a little plug sack emblem right here, chat. It's gonna be like right here. The do-rag still gonna be black, but like right here, real small, it's gonna be the plug sack logo, man. It's gonna be like, oh yeah, plug got that boy.
Their behavior has been shameful and selfish. And I hear young people talk not about, I'm mad at the Jews. I hear young people say things like,
yeah, Mexico is banning cash payments for gas and toll fees by 2026. Also, Mexico is making every cell phone user register their number with the government or the service will be suspended. The service is going to automatically be suspended until they register with the government. I'm sure they'll give them a buffer period, but after that period is over with, all the cell phones that haven't registered with the government, service will be suspended until they register.
Only baby boomers would, like have a second home in Isle of Palms, South Carolina, but like not help their kids buy homes.
You said why care I don't travel? Because if it's rolling out there, best believe it's coming here next. They have to test it somewhere. So they're rolling out all of these different tests in different countries. When it comes to the Child Safety Act, when it comes to Nepal trying to ban the social medias, when it comes to Mexico making cash payments, when it comes to China and the social credit score. These are all social experiments working towards the one world government. They just rolling it out in different places, testing them in different places. Just like we seen the UBI. Elon's talking about universal high income now. We seen it roll out in Baltimore and a lot of these other cities where they were giving these single moms $1,000 and seeing how far they could stretch it and shit. Like they're testing it out in certain areas to see if it's gonna work on the masses.
That's what I hear. I hear people who understand that their lives will bear no resemblance to the lives of their parents and grandparents, and they're really upset about it. Meanwhile, there are all these people making billions on clearly fraudulent enterprises, crypto-related enterprises, and other enterprises.
You said, how are they gonna know if you even have service? Because you're gonna have to use their towers. That's how they're gonna know. You're gonna have to use their towers. That number is gonna be blocked, just like they can blacklist a phone number or whatever. I don't know exactly how it's gonna work, but I'm pretty sure that if you're using their towers, they can block your number.
Enterprises that are like not adding to the sum total of prosperity in this country and not making the country better. So that's where I think the radicalism is going to start. The murder of that healthcare executive in New York, the health insurer guy, I'm against all murder, just to be totally clear. But I was surprised but not really shocked by the reaction, the positive reaction. Always kind of normal.
So this is the thing. You said, see, conspiracy, this is what I've been talking about over the last year. Conspiracy says, did you see Elon calling into the central bankers meeting to try to sound like he doesn't want one world government, really trying to win us back over? That's what I'm saying. He doesn't want the one world government the central bankers want. They want one world government, but we have the legacy banking warring with the technocrats right now. They want one world government, but they're fighting on who's going to control this one world government. Is it going to be legacy banking as it has been the last however long, at least 200 years, 250 years, or is it going to be the technocrats?
Normal looking people on the internet are like, I'm glad they killed him. They don't even know his name. However, that reflects this revolutionary frustration. And I do think it's revolutionary. I think one of the reasons that Trump is apparently going to make weed legal is just so we can lower testosterone levels even more. Just make people more passive. Have some more benzos. Like, it's fine. It's totally fine. Because it's not fine is the truth. So again, long-winded answer to a short question, but the future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent, on the basis of thwarted economic opportunity.
I mean, Fuentes wants America to be a white Christian nation, among other things.
Okay, well, he's very good at defending the New York Times, but I think the real issues are not about Fuentes or even about race. Immigration has a direct effect on economics, and so the overwhelming majority of newly created jobs in the past 5 years have gone to foreign-born. So, like, it's not an attack on the foreign-born to say that's not really the job of the U.S. government to provide economic opportunity to the world.
I'm going to be honest, chat. The way the world is going, the Amish might have had that shit right. I'm just going to say it. Everybody's thinking it. Don't get mad at me now. Everybody hit the like button, chat. We 33 likes away from the next like goal. Let's get to 300 likes, man. The Amish might have had this shit right, chat. I'm just going to be honest with you. The Amish might have had this shit right.
World, the job is to protect its own people.
I can tell you don't want to talk about Fuentes.
Well, I don't have what to say.
Okay,
I just think, okay, he said naughty things about this, that, or the other thing. Okay.
No, well, you caused a big. I'm focusing on you. This is an interview of you.
I didn't cause anything. People got hysterical. How can you talk to this man?
I talked to people. Brought Fuentes onto your show.
I've interviewed Ted Cruz, who's calling for the murder of innocents. I don't think Fuentes is doing that.
But that conversation was pretty friendly. you know,
People say that. I mean, whatever. Okay, I'm naughty for talking to Fuentes, but
you've been doing this for decades. I mean, I have watched you and your shows for a very long time. And you obviously have a very savvy understanding of how to approach your interviews and how they're going to land.
Think about it, chat. Like the Amish, bro, they really don't have like. I'm not talking about the modern Amish that really don't believe in it, but like the Amish who take it serious, chat, like their digital footprint is damn near nothing. Like the trends, the ideologies, they haven't got caught in these algorithms really. Like their digital footprint is probably next to nothing, bro. And we've been leaving a digital footprint where I can speak on myself. I've been leaving a digital footprint probably since fucking Black Planet, bro. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Before MySpace, bro, Black Planet, I had to be like 11 or 12, bro.
And, you know, why?
I don't know about that, but yeah.
Well,
I don't think I'm that savvy. Maybe I'm underselling myself.
I mean, why did you want to handle it the way that you did? You know, you started with
Well, I've explained this a
talking
million times, but I'll explain it very crisply.
No, you started, you know, by
I noticed that no one
talking
wants
about
to
his background and where he grew up. It's a different kind of interview than the one when I look at Ambassador Huckabee.
I've known Huckabee for over 30 years. Huckabee's been a public figure for over 30 years.
But
He was
one
the
was
governor
prosecutorial.
three
You were
times.
building a case. The other one was friendly. I mean, you were wrestling quite vigorously with.
If I agreed with everything Fuentes said, I would just say so. Like, there's no the effort to kind of like divine my motives when I state my motives clearly. I think I'm telling the truth.
I know, but as you have
Let me
acknowledged
just
in this
state- let me
interview,
just state my motives.
you use questions sometimes as a
If
form of.
I could just state my motives,
attack.
and you can either believe me or not, and I've done this many times, but I'll do it once more, and say, I'd never heard of Fuentes. I first heard him because he was attacking me and my family, which enraged me.
When I say the Amish got it right, I'm talking about the ideology, not the resisting the technology and shit, man. I'm talking about that, like how the Native Americans didn't want people taking their pictures. They thought every time you took a picture, it took a part of their soul. Now it's like, man, and maybe these groups of people was on to something, Chad. That's all I'm saying. Maybe they was on to something.
I did fall for the bait. And so then I thought, well, this guy seems like, I keep hearing he's very influential. Let's have him on, hear what he has to say. So I did that. And on the question of hating Jews because they're Jews, I'm opposed. Told him that to his face. Lots of people decided that I should have taken a different tone. Okay, do your own interview with Fuentes if you want. That's okay with me. But I guess what I've come to believe, I didn't feel it was a significant interview, especially on any level, except to the extent it was used to try and make me into a Nazi, which, again, I'm not. I would admit it. But what I think is interesting is the kind of moral scheme.
You said, do I have any tangible skills? I'm from Arkansas. Hell yeah, I can hunt, fish. Yeah, I can build a little bit. To save my life, I built me a damn podium not too long ago. Chad, when was that I built that podium? That was this time last year, around the 4th of July, I built that podium. So hell yeah, hunt, fish. I build a little bit, man. Work on cars a little bit here and there. Do a little something, Chad. I'm gonna eat for sure. We're gonna eat.
That interview revealed, which not surprisingly is childish and kind of repulsive. And by moral scheme, I mean like what the people in charge, including in journalism, think is right and wrong. So
shit, I'm remodeling the house right now with what God gave me. If that tells you a little something, chat, I'm full gutting the bathroom right now, and I already tore down the shit in the back. I'm redoing the fence, chat. I'm doing that shit with what God gave me, chat. And don't got a big budget. If you want to know the fucking truth, not a big budget, and I'm working with what God gave me.
I think anyone who calls for the murder of innocents or justifies them is the lowest possible person. There's nothing worse than that, than killing kids. And you take someone like Randy Fine or Ted Cruz.
Representative from Florida.
Yeah, Mike
Senator
Huckabee.
in
Right.
Texas.
These are all, I don't know Fine, but But I know the other two very well and have for many years. And both of them have just been like, no, we should go kill people and their kids. And they make excuses for that. Like, there's nothing worse than that. And yet, those are the only controversial part of those interviews from the perspective of others in journalism is that I was too mean. I was too tough. I was too tough on Mike Huckabee.
Hey, hold on now, Top Cat. Don't do too much now. Y'all see them calluses and shit now. I do some shit now, chat. I got some man hands, man. This shit ain't no nail polish, ain't no cute shit, man. Like, y'all see them calluses and shit, man. You don't get that shit unless you putting in some fucking work, man. You talking about, Top Cat?
A sitting U.S. ambassador, or Ted Cruz, who's a...
I don't think that was the concern.
Okay, but
I
the
think
point
it was
is...
I think, when you just compare them...
who do you think is more morally repulsive, Ted Cruz or
Who
Nick
do you
Fuentes?
think is more morally repulsive?
Ted Cruz. Ted Cruz is a sitting U.S. senator who has called for the killing of people who did nothing wrong, whole populations who advocated for this war. Nick Fuentes is like a kid. He's like 26 or 7. He has no power except his words. Here you have a public official who we pay, who has actual power, who's voting for things, who's making policy decisions. And those decisions would include, in fact, they are focused on the murder of people who did nothing wrong. And yet no one thinks it's a big deal. Well, this is totally...
You said, where am I at now? I'm between Georgia, Alabama, and Arkansas. I really, Texas a little bit, but really mainly Georgia, Alabama, and Arkansas. That's where I'm between now, chat.
Fine. I mean, if there's tape of Nick Fuentes saying we should kill people because we hate their parents, or it's okay to kill children, I would love to see the tape, because that's disgusting. And that's basically what the entire U.S. Senate does every single day, and no one notices. Nick Fuentes said something naughty that I disagreed with. He made fun of things that I don't think I would never make fun of them.
He's a white nationalist who's denied the Holocaust. And what I will say,
okay,
from
but
my
is that
own
worse than killing kids?
From my understanding of my own, I was just in Germany recently, and it was such a good reminder that the Holocaust didn't start with the gassing of Jews. It started with the dehumanization of Jews. It was language that was used. And again, that is what it concerns
I couldn't
people.
agree more. And that's why when you have a U.S. senator, a member of Congress, a U.S. ambassador waving away civilian deaths as if they don't matter, that's the language of genocide, which results, and this is the lesson of the Holocaust, in genocide itself. And it has. So the lesson for me, really, watching all of this, is that this can happen in civilized countries, in all human beings.
Hey, chat, we're 18 likes away from the next like goal. I gotta go get my papers too. I'll be right back. Hit the like button. Let's get this 18 likes.
There is the capacity to ignore the evil right in front of you. And my point is, it's happening right now. And my job, to the extent I have one, I don't really have a job, but I just want to remind people that we're all capable of that, including me, and that we're watching it right now. And if you think that Nick Fuentes is a greater threat to other human beings than Ted Cruz, I would love to know how.
I can imagine people hearing this and thinking you are soft-pedaling Nick Fuentes. You are apologizing for Nick Fuentes.
I'm hardly soft-pedaling Nick Fuentes. I'm trying to awaken people to killing of innocents in our midst, which we are not only encouraged to ignore, but really told to ignore on pain of being denounced. And I'm just saying, no, I'm not doing that. And Ted Cruz and Mike Huckabee are two of the main people making this moment possible, and President Trump. But Nick Fuentes is the problem? Okay. It's not a defense of Nick Fuentes. It's merely like a reality check for the rest of us. What are we doing?
We began this conversation by discussing your rupture with President Trump. And I'd like to ask about your relationship with the vice president, because you were one of the people credited with getting him into that role. You were close to him. You advocated for him. Are you still close to Vance, considering your rupture with the president?
I mean, I will always love J.D. Vance as a man. I think, and I'm making this judgment on the basis of his public statements over many years, I think he's in a tough spot. He's in a tough spot. I mean, he's on the record repeatedly saying this is exactly the thing that this administration would avoid doing, and now they've done it.
President Trump was also on the record saying
Oh,
similarly.
yeah, as I've said many times, exactly. And by the way, I wouldn't characterize it as a rupture with Trump. He betrayed his promises to me and everybody else, and I acknowledge that in public. So it doesn't make me the person who breached the contract. He's the one who breached the contract.
Good night, Max.
But it puts the vice president in a super difficult spot, and I know him well and think.
Vlad, what it do, Vlad?
So much of him as a person, and it is my guess that based on his past behavior that he's doing everything he can to mitigate what he sees as the ill effects of this. And but it's kind of hard to call the shots when you're vice president because that's not in the Constitution. So no, I would never. I put him in a bad situation just by my public. You know, he was attacked.
Hey, Top Cat, you still in here? I had called Money the other day, Top Cat. I was talking to Money, and I was telling him how somebody coming in here trolling all the mods, and I was talking about somebody had changed their name to Bottom Cat Serious Blackish. Hey, we thought that shit was so funny. I said, man, I know this shit pissed Top Cat off. I know it pissed Top Cat off.
Endlessly for my Nick Fuentes interview. Whoa, so scary. And okay, so I always felt bad about that. He didn't do anything. You know what I mean? But I was used as a cudgel to beat him over the head because the neocons hated him because they thought that if he ever became president, he would be less compliant than the president turned out to be. So, you know, I don't want to add to that at all. I think he's a really good man. I know he's a good man because I know him very well. But, you know, I don't have anything else to say to anyone in the administration because I can't affect
You don't talk to him anymore?
any outcome.
When was the last time you spoke to the vice president?
Oh, I don't know. But I don't want to add to his problems at all. But I would just say what's obvious is that I'm hardly an advisor to this administration. And I think it's also clear that Donald Trump makes these decisions.
You really don't know the last time you spoke to Vice President J.D. Vance? Weeks, months, days?
I don't know. I mean, I would never characterize that. I don't want to cause him more problems. I would just say I'm not advising. No one's seeking my counsel. I'm not trying to influence anything. I gave it my best shot. Didn't work.
Well, let me ask you this. Vance was not in favor of the war, but he ultimately didn't seem willing to die on the Hill. I mean, he could resign. He could, there's many things he could have done, I suppose. Do you wish he'd been more forceful?
You know, I will just say, I'll just be totally blunt about.
Hey, chat, we're 4 likes away from that 300. Let's go and knock out that 300 likes right quick, man. Double tap that screen for me. Shut the live out. Let's get the 300 likes, man. We right there, man. Let's smash past that like goal. We're also 20 subscribers away from the next sub goal. Let's hit 47,700 tonight.
What I'm doing, which is taking a pass on your question and say that I know JD very, very well. And I think it's like super tough situation. He's in my prayers. I mean that. And I just don't want to add to what is clearly a really hard job.
I know that if you were in my position, you'd press.
Oh, go crazy. But I'm just saying, like, my only goal is I just want to be honest. And so I'm being, I think, as transparent as I possibly can be, or I'm attempting to.
I'm being
of
transparent.
Course, yeah, no problem at all.
And saying that my job is also to press you.
I get it.
So, however he has felt privately, publicly Vance has been a loyal soldier.
Yes.
Even going so far as to head the recent negotiations with the Iranians. And we've seen, and you've commented, how unpopular this war is among the American people. Do you think the role that he is playing right now will hurt his political prospects?
There are people in the White House who want to hurt J.D. Vance and have wanted that since the very first day. They were bitter. They wanted Marco Rubio to be the choice as vice president. And so J.D. has been subject to, this is well known, but I'll just confirm it, nonstop treachery from people on the neoconservative side.
Who are these people?
Around Marco Rubio. And by the way, Marco Rubio's got to be one of the most charming people in the whole world. And, it's...
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. The Marco Rubio memes are so funny to me, chat. Like the memes with him with the beer bone, like sitting down with that big plate of lobster, bro. Like the memes where he has the damn turban on and shit. Like the Rubio memes are hilarious, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie, bro. That shit is funny.
It's impossible to dislike Marco Rubio, and I'm not an intimate friend or anything, but so I can't say to what extent he's involved in it, but certainly he is the choice of the donor class. The donor class is avowedly neoconservative. That's why they give money for outcomes like the ones we're watching. That's why this whole system is completely rotten and just impervious to reform. And they have been totally against J.D. Vance from the very beginning.
Who do you mean specifically? Because, I mean, it was interesting in those conversations with Susie Wiles, for example, where she was very much praising Marco Rubio and had less maybe complimentary things to say about J.D. Vance. I mean, is that to whom you're referring?
I don't know is the real answer.
I don't really like Marco Rubio. I really don't like none of them, Chad. I'm not gonna lie. I like that Marco Rubio kept it real and said that the imminent threat was that Israel was gonna attack first. I like that he kept it real on that, but Rubio, I look at him like I look at everybody else up there, man.
Don't know.
I mean, you're accusing people of treachery, so I'm wondering.
Well, I know there's been a lot of treachery for sure, and I know they were so mad about JD getting that job. I mean,
who's they?
Well, Miriam Adelson, for example, Rupert Murdoch. People who were very much vested in using Trump for what we're seeing now.
But within the White House?
I don't know the answer to that. I've never worked there. So like if you don't work there, you can say you can say what you think you know, but it's hard to really know.
This is me looking skeptical.
Yeah, well no, but it's me being honest. Like I don't really know. And you read all these things about, Susie, is of course a product of Florida, and there's a whole Florida group and the consultants and Marco and all the rest, and people whisper about that. Is that true? I really don't know. I've never heard her say anything against JD. She seemed to love JD, but who knows, man? Who knows? But I know, I definitely know that like outside, I mean, it's hard to believe that Mark Levin and Laura Loomer, who are, like have no constituency whatsoever and would have influence in the White House, but they do. And both of them have been out for Vance from day one, big time.
Do you think it's hurting, though, his political prospects, to repeat the question, that he has been put in the position, according to you, that he is fronting these negotiations in Iran?
Yeah, I mean, well, I think...
Hey, Chad, whoever this is making all of these fake accounts of my mods, man, all I ask is you subscribe to the channel, bro. Whoever the hell this is making all the fake accounts of my mods, man, you better be subscribing on all of these damn accounts, bro.
This whole thing, it's not even JD specific. This whole thing is like dooming anyone connected to it for the foreseeable future, including the entire Republican Party. And, if you're psyched for President Gavin Newsom, I guess that's a good thing. I'm not. So I think it's a disaster. It's a true disaster. And again, I told Trump this like 10 times. Like, this is going to blow up your legacy, all this gold.
Thanks, Andrew.
They're going to take it down and mock you as they do. Like, this is going to blow up you're concerned about your legacy. You're 80 in June. Like, I get it. But this is not the way. And I think that's proven true.
So you think this will doom J.D. Vance as well?
I don't know, doom. I mean, I'm obviously not good at calling the future, but I couldn't be more, I couldn't be a bigger fan of him as a man, but I think anybody connected to this is going to have a hard time explaining it, because how is this good for the United States? It's not.
One more question on this particular issue. It was just published that your son, who worked for the VP, left that job. Did your rift with Trump have anything to do with that and make it hard for him?
Zero. He was not forced out of the role at all. And my understanding of it is, let me just say, in a normal world, in a decent world, my son or my son's job would have no relevance at all to me.
Why did your son leave then? If he wasn't forced out?
I don't know. You can ask him. But he was there over a year. Like, I don't know. White House is an intense place to work. I don't want to talk about my son. He's got nothing to do with this.
No, I mean...
No, but that's kind of the point. Like, we need to defend the core beliefs of our civilization which, by the way,
Here
are
we go.
attractive to the entire world. People move here not just for our robust economy, but because they want to be judged on the basis of what they did, not on what their parents did. That's the whole point. That's collective punishment. It's blood guilt, and we reject it. I gave this lecture to Nick Fuentes. I gave this lecture to Mike Huckabee. The lecture never changes because the idea is the core idea of our civilization.
Since you mentioned Nick Fuentes, I have one last question. You opened the door.
I don't care about Nick Fuentes.
He is not a J.D. Vance fan. He's called him a race traitor because of his marriage to OSHA.
I don't care. He's like
who is Indian American. Wait, let me finish the question. I mean, given how influential Fuentes is right now.
Is he?
Is he not?
I don't know. Doesn't seem to be. He didn't get us into war with Iran. Like, who cares, actually? That's kind of what I'm saying. Like, all of this is like a sideshow. Americans are being killed in a foreign country at the behest of another foreign country, and it's going to wreck the U.S. dollar and cause hyperinflation in our country. And we're like fretting about what some kid on the internet said. It's like, who cares, actually? This is a way of taking us away from the...
All right, chat. Live poll in the chat. Live poll in the chat. Sit up in the bed. I know you laying down, twiddling your toes, rubbing them feet together, but we got a live poll right here, right now. Double tap that screen, hit the like button. In your opinion, chat, on a scale of 1 to 10, how influential is Nick Fuentes right now in controlling the narrative? How influential is Nick Fuentes in controlling the narrative?
The core issues, which are economic. They're economic. And that is the one thing that nobody ever wants to talk about. How is the money distributed? Where does the money come from? No one wants to, that's why, like, the only left-wing movement I ever had a lot of sympathy for was the one that arose after the global financial crisis. Occupy Wall Street. I didn't know exactly what they were about, but I was like, yeah, we should be mad at the banks because, like, they did this and no one got punished. And within like 20 minutes, we're talking about black people and white people. It was like,
I'm happy to talk about economics, but your interview with Fuentes has 25 million views. But to say that it doesn't matter isn't, and
it matters in what sense? Like,
okay, I'll give Nick probably like a 7. I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason I give Nick a 7, and I don't think he's gonna go away after 2027, is because Nick has created an ism. So what Nick has created is going to live on with or without him. It's an ism. It's a set of ideologies he's placed forth. He's laid out the foundation. He's telling how many people he wants, 100,000. And when it comes to the J.D. Vance situation, blowing up the J.D. Vance, Peter Thiel connection, blowing up the Palantir connection, the meetings that Tucker had and all of that, Nick blew that up. And even a lot of people who don't know Nick blew that up, they know the connection between Palantir and J.D. Vance and the police state. Now, whether they know who brought that forward or who was championing that or not, they know what's going on and they scratching their head. So I would give them probably like a 7. If we're gonna say that, yeah, I'll get Nick like a 7. I don't agree with Nick, but I'm just saying if we're gonna talk about who has, we gotta call it how it is. Who got the clout, chat? Who's swaying the narratives, man? Y'all think do you think Don Lemon is swaying more narratives than Nick Fuentes? Roland Martin? I mean, we gotta keep it real, chat. You got on one side you got Hassan, you got Destiny, you got Don Lemon. You got Roland Martin. You got I guess we'll stop there. The other side, you got like a Benny Johnson. You got the Candace. You got Tucker. You got Sneeko. Then you got people who are in the middle. Other people, these are people who are controlling narratives. So if we're gonna rank Nick Fuentes inside of those people, I would give Nick a 7. That's what I'm saying.
Does it matter more than...
But can I finish my question?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Given how influential he is, and I just don't think that there's any argument about that. I'm
influential
wondering
in
how...
what way?
I'm wondering how you think J.D.
What's
Vance
up,
could
Gito?
become the leader of the party after Trump if you have someone like
Hit the like
Fuentes
button, chat.
speaking so critically of him.
So I'm so glad you asked that question because its premise reveals everything.
All right, tell me.
So the premise of your question is that J.D. Vance can't.
No, I'm not saying that he can't.
It's going to be difficult for J.D. Vance to advance politically because of.
I'm asking, do you think?
Just the premise that it could be that J.D. Vance's interracial marriage is a bigger problem than his foreign policy views.
No, I didn't say that.
It doesn't.
No, I'm saying that there is a person who is incredibly influential in the
Is
party.
he incredibly influential? Like on what basis are you saying that?
Oh my goodness, there's lots of evidence, not only in the reach of what he talks about, but also.
Can you name a single member of Congress who's acknowledged his existence or said, "I did this because he told me to"?
That's a groiper. I don't know that there's.
There's not a single member of Congress who would ever stand. Hold on, who would ever stand up and say.
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people think Nick Fuentes is gay, but the way he talks about Peter Thiel and his husband, man, and the escapades they have, I don't know if Nick is gay, man. Y'all think Nick's using that to cover up he's projecting? Y'all think he's projecting? I don't know, man. He talk kind of crazy about Peter Thiel being gay.
Or even show evidence of being influenced by Nick Fuentes, where they're out of 535, they're about 500 who are taking money from AIPAC.
I have already asked about the war's impact on Vance. This is a question about the future of the party, and the future of any party are its young people. And in the same way that Turning Point USA has influence on young conservatives.
I'm going to be honest, Chad. I think Nick is one of those guys like who says they're saving it for marriage, but they only do like other shit. Like they don't have vaginal sex. Like I think Nick's probably in the pooper shooter, man. I think Nick's probably getting some blowjobs, man, and in the pooper shooter, man. I think Nick's saying that he's gonna be a virgin until marriage, like those girls who only do it in the butt until marriage. I think Nick's one of those.
So does Nick Fuentes. And so
I guess I don't know how we're measuring that, but
what I'm trying, all I'm trying to ask you here is if you but listen, there is
what I'm trying to
a strain in the Republican Party.
No, he said he was a virgin. He said he's waiting till marriage, and I'm saying that I think he's one of those type of virgins, like where he's actually never had vaginal sex, but he's probably put it up the pooper shooper, and he's probably got a little oral, man. I think Nick's one of those, man. He's technically a virgin, but he's technically not a virgin. I think he's one of those.
Especially among young people who are racist, who talk about J.D. Vance and his marriage in a particular way, and I'm asking you, and you can decide not to answer it, but I'm simply asking you.
I'm trying to answer it.
If you think that is going to be a problem for J.D. Vance leading the party, because
let me answer your question.
Thank you.
You were unable to tell me how Fuentes was influential in any way other than the views on a video, which are probably lower than those on your average porn video. So that's like not a good measurement. It's not meaningful. Does he have influence on our politics? I haven't seen any. So let's just start there. Second, J.D. Vance's problems.
Tucker is in a tough situation here. He can't acknowledge that Nick Fuentes and his Groper movement is pretty much running J.D. Vance's chance at 2028 into the fucking ground. Nick Fuentes is doing a whole campaign to make sure that J.D. Vance does not win the Republican nominee. And Tucker's in a tough space here because if he acknowledges the sway that Nick could potentially have, it's like J.D. Vance's chances are done. So Tucker has to downplay this. Like, it doesn't surprise me that Tucker's downplaying this because Nick's going after his boy. Like, they said that Tucker talked to Trump personally right before Trump got J.D. Vance to be the VP and all on the same bandwagon. They said Tucker personally went and talked to Trump about J.D. So Tucker can't really renege right now. He can't renege.
with young people and old people and the party itself revolve around his views on foreign policy and economics, which are the issues that actually matter. Third, race is thrown up as a distraction so often, as in this case, to distract from what actually matters, because on questions of economic, let me just finish, on questions of economic, if I can finish, on the Fuentes himself is a distraction from the conversations that matter, because power is displayed through the structure of the economic system, globally and per country, and in the use of force. So it's the economic program and the foreign policy program are what matters in every government from the beginning of time. Those are the two questions on which there's a bipartisan consensus in Washington between Republicans and Democrats that we should do this thing. The public rejects that thing in both categories. They reject the economics that are a consensus choice in Washington, and they reject the foreign policy that's a consensus choice in Washington. And so Washington's response, Wall Street's response as well, is to be like, let's have a race war, and you guys can like argue over blacks or whites or whether JD is married to an Indian woman. Like, what? And so Fuentes is incredibly useful for people with actual power to divert the conversation to something that is both irrelevant and divisive, because it's a divide and conquer strategy. And my strong view, gained over 35 years of watching carefully and being involved, is that that's come to its end.
Okay.
And JD's real problems are his foreign policy views, the ones he's articulated for 10 years, are in direct opposition to the foreign policy views of the people who fund the Republican Party and the Democratic Party. Same people. And they have the same views.
It's the idea of the uniparty.
Well, on these questions, it's totally true. We can argue about the trans thing. You can have legitimate views on race, legitimate views on trans. That's all. Those are real issues. I'm not saying they're not. But those are not the issues on which empires rise and fall. The real issues are economics and foreign policy. And on those issues, there's a bipartisan consensus. And so they throw up like, no, we're disagreeing on trans. We're disagreeing on affirmative action or whatever. But they agree on all that matters. And JD disagrees, as Trump did, at least in his public statements. So this is the wrong foreign policy course. This economic system is hurting young people. And so Fuentes shows up, and everyone wants to talk about Fuentes because it's really safe. No one wants to talk about, why are capital gains taxes half those of taxes on regular income? Like, I think that's like a critical debate. You will never have that debate. Have you ever asked a question about that? No one ever asked that. And I think that's like, nothing's more important domestically than that, but whatever. That's my opinion.
Okay.
I wish I hadn't done the Fuentes interview because...
Really?
Damn.
Yeah, it was totally not worth it. I mean, it was like kind of interesting, I guess. But it was used as... I added to the distraction. What I really wanted to talk about was where we were going in this war with Iran. And I spent like a month getting calls from people being like, you're a Nazi. Okay. And I wish I hadn't done that. Not that it didn't imperil my soul. I've interviewed far worse people than Nick Fuentes, like Mike Huckabee, a far worse person than Nick Fuentes, hurt many more people than Nick Fuentes. Same with Ted Cruz. But so I don't think it affected me. I interview people I disagree with all the time. And often I'm polite to them, including war criminals. The only person I've really been impolite with is Ted Cruz, because I have limited self-control and he's just so repulsive I couldn't control myself. And I was a jerk, and I tried to apologize. But if you had to sit across from Ted Cruz, it's just, there's something about him. It's just like repulsive. I mean, it's like disgusting. Like if you entered a men's room and Ted Cruz was there, you would be like, I can hold it. I'm leaving. And I broke down under the strain of his repulsiveness. But in general, I try to be nice to everybody. But man, that Fuentes interview, I just added to the distraction.
I think we're done for now. We're going to speak again.
We're going to speak again?
Yeah, you didn't know that?
No.
Oh, you thought this was one and done? Oh, my man. No. On the interview, we speak to our guest twice. So a few days later, I followed up with Tucker Carlson. We talked about his views on immigration, his disdain for both parties.
Subscribe to the channel, hit the like
his
button.
Rupture with President Trump is permanent. Hi.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. All right, you're a little loud in my ear. Let me turn you down.
I'm a little loud in many people's ears.
But thank you for taking time to talk to me again. I definitely wanted to circle back on something because we ended up our last conversation talking about Vice President Vance. But I also wanted to ask you about somebody else that you were close to, and that's Don Jr., the president's son. He supported your new media venture after you left Fox. So I'm wondering what your relationship is now, considering your comments about his father. Have you talked about it? Are you still in touch?
I've known Don for a long time. We share a common love of the outdoors, and we don't actually talk a lot about politics. We talk mostly about hunting and fishing. And so I have not spoken to him about the war in Iran, and probably won't. But, I think his views on that are pretty well known.
So you're still in touch, in other words?
Yeah, absolutely. And I expect to be. I mean, Don's a friend of mine and a really good guy, but our relationship is not political at all, really. In fact, I don't remember the last time I talked about politics.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it brings me to this wider issue about how you critique the president. You're always quite careful to say how much you like him personally.
Mm-hmm.
Are you worried about alienating his base, though? Because aren't they some of the same people who tune into your show?
Well, I don't think I'm careful about saying it. I want to be honest about saying it. I mean,
Chat, hit the like button.
In part because
Double tap
I
the
was
screen.
out promoting Trump, pretty aggressively for a long time. As for his base, I mean, I don't have a base. I'm not a candidate for office and don't plan to be.
You have an audience,
We do have an audience, yeah, and it's grown. And, it's not exactly clear who that is. I mean, I get these readouts from our tech guys. Well, we have, new people watch. Well, who are they? It's like you don't really know. But, this war is unpopular. The idea of sending Americans over to risk their lives to regime change in another part of the world is itself unpopular, whether it's in Iran or any other country.
Now, I don't know who that is,
So,
Marta.
I think I'm on the side of the majority in this country, and maybe the numbers reflect that. But I don't really think about that when I'm thinking through what we talk about, who I interview.
Because when you do look at your page on YouTube, you do definitely see that the numbers are much bigger when you talk about the war in Iran. And so...
well, we're in a war with Iran, and it's the biggest thing that's happened in my lifetime. And the potential consequences include nuclear war. And so it's an inherently big deal, and it's being ignored or downplayed by most of the rest of the media. So I think we benefit from taking it seriously, but it's inherently serious. That's my view of it. And so I would talk about it, almost no matter who watched or didn't, because I think it's that important.
One more question about the president. Your comments have clearly gotten under his skin. I mean, he's posted long screeds on Truth Social about you. And, to refer again to those texts that came out in the Fox News Dominion legal fight, there was one from you saying that Trump is good at destroying things. And you wrote,
yes,
he's the undisputed world champion of that. He could easily destroy us if we play it wrong. I mean, do you worry about him destroying you now? He's got a lot of power.
I don't worry about him destroying me. I mean, I turned 57 next month. My kids are grown. I mean, there's not really, what can you do to me? I don't work for anybody, and I'm not that worried about my own life anyway. But he does have the capacity to destroy, and I do think that it's a binary. You're either creating or destroying in this life. And I think he has proved through the course of his life better at destroying than at creating. I mean, he's created some, but I have a strong preference for creation over destruction. And, look, one of the reasons that I appreciated Trump from day one, in addition to always enjoying his company and finding him hilarious, is because he was very good at assailing the foundations of rotten structures. And I knew that they were rotten because I am from Washington, and I knew those institutions well. And I knew that despite, how they described themselves, they were basically just fatuous and long outdated and probably deserved to be taken down, like a house with rotten sills. And Trump was great at exposing that and taking them down. USAID, as someone from D.C., I knew a lot about USAID.
Welcome in, Erica.
Why are we doing this? This is counterproductive.
Thank you, Erica, for renewing that membership. Thank you, Erica, for renewing that membership. She said like, subscribe, and become part of the tribe. Thank you, Erica, for that 6-month membership.
To American interests, and Trump just went in there and took it out. And I like that. But that is the first step of course. That can't be the end stage. The first step is you scrape the old property, then you build something new and better and beautiful. And we haven't gotten to that part of the program. And it's not even really being promised at this point, which is troubling.
Do you see a path toward supporting him again? I mean, if he suddenly took actions that you agreed with, do you see yourself coming back into the fold?
I'd support anybody who made life in the United States better. Of course, it's absolutely not personal, and that's part of what I hope to convey by always adding the caveat. But I like Trump because it's not personal. So I would always support and I mean literally anybody, no matter how unlikely the person, no matter how much I disagreed with his previous policies or reviled him as a man or whatever. It almost doesn't matter. If someone's doing a good thing, I want to be honest enough to say, God bless you for doing that, and I support that thing. So it's really about what a person is doing. It's about the fruit rather than the perception. You make this country better. I don't care who you are. I will cheer you on because I live here, and I want the country to get better. It's not getting better. Now, it's very hard for me to imagine any scenario in which we look back on the last 2 months, this war with Iran, and say that really made us more prosperous, safer, happier, united our country. I just can't imagine that. But then, a lot of things I haven't been able to imagine. So if that happens, I will be the very first person to say, well, I was completely wrong about that, and I'm sorry. And I'm grateful that I was wrong. Mm-hmm. And I will really mean it. Because I'm not, again, I don't have any partisan agenda at all. The Republican Party could not be more repulsive to me. The Democratic Party, same thing. So I just am in this weird non-aligned place, and it's totally sincere. Like, I think the parties, and I'm...
Tucker. I am the voice of the politically homeless, Tucker, man. You know you can come on over here, Tucker. Go on, pick up your plug. Pick up your plug, Tucker, and it's all good, man. No harm, no foul. Just come pick up your plug, man.
I'm saying this on the basis of a lot of knowledge, are rotten beyond repair, or at least simple repairs.
Can you imagine creating a new party? I mean, can you imagine there being a different party that would more closely align to your views and perhaps others? I mean, if you're saying that these parties are rotten beyond repair, what are you proposing, if anything?
Let me just say, just to be more precise, nothing is rotten beyond repair. Repairs are always possible.
Okay, because you said rotten beyond repair.
I meant it's a cliche, and I shouldn't have used it on those grounds. Rotten beyond remodeling, I would say. This can't, you can't just put a new coat of paint or fresh drywall on these structures because they are ridden with rot. Okay, so I would like to see them repaired. That would be the simplest solution. I don't think that's likely to happen. So, of course, I would be thrilled to see the rise of a party that represented the majority of Americans, at least by intent. Look, it's not even a question of, are you for this tax rate or are you for that tax rate? It's a question of orientation. Are you going to have a political party whose number one aim is helping the people who put it in power, helping the citizens of the United States? And neither party can say that, honestly, because neither party is very interested in its own citizens. The Democratic Party is much more interested in importing new non-citizens, making them citizens and making reliable voters out of them. And the Republican Party is much more interested in, fighting wars for a foreign country. So whatever you think of those aims, neither one is focused on the needs of Americans. And I think somebody should be in a representative democracy, like there should be a party that is speaking for most people. Am I going to build it? Absolutely not. I'm not a politician, but I would support it. As with whatever I had, I would support it.
And who do you imagine being the head of that party?
I have literally no idea.
So could it be someone on the left?
Well, it could be anybody. I'm not even sure what the left means at this point. I mean, I have some very good friends on the left. Now, they're not conventional West Side liberals. They're not. They don't have signs, in this house, we believe in science, like that sort of dopey light.
The fuck is a West Side liberal, chat? Yeah, Tucker might have gangbanged on us.
Lifestyle liberalism of my childhood, like I think that's kind of played out. Like angry ladies telling you to put your mask on, like no one wants that. But I have some sincere left-wing friends who have a critique of economics and foreign policy that I agree with completely, or substantially agree with, for sure.
One last question on this. Obviously, you're in Maine. Graham Plattner is a Democrat who is vying to be the Senate candidate. Is that someone that whose ideas you are interested in at all?
See Eldon,
CL
Dragon with your smart ass. I Googled West Side Liberal. While you said West Side is free, I Googled it. It didn't come up with shit. LA's deep blue West Side. That's why I said gang banging. They gang banging. They didn't come up with shit other than LA's deep blue West Side, man, gang banging.
Certainly appreciate his foreign policy views, a lot. And I appreciate how different they are from everybody else's in his party. I haven't met him, and I plan to meet him. I don't know a lot about his other views. I think at this point with AI posed to destroy some high percentage of American
He said West Side Liberal, Steve, not West Coast. He said West Side.
Jobs. There's really no justification for immigration of any kind into the United States. You can't say, well, we're going to, 30% of lawyers are going to be out of work.
And y'all can't tell me they wasn't gangbanging, because I remember, wasn't there Tupac that was like, West Side? Yeah. Don't do that now. Don't do that.
This percentage of software coders or accountants or, any other sort of support a family type job, they're all going to evaporate because of this new technology. But we have a bunch of new H-1B people we'd like you to meet. That's just cruelty, both to, and most important, to American citizens, but also to the immigrant. Like, what are we doing? So anybody who's for diluting our labor pool with foreign labor is, clearly not acting in the interest of the country. And I couldn't support anyone like that. But, the prerequisite to having a rational conversation about immigration is deracializing it. Okay, it's not everything is about race. The truth is, sorry?
No, I was finish your thought, and then I was going to jump in.
Well, just we are looking at the elimination of some very large unspecified number of American jobs due to technology, and there are going to be a lot of unemployed people, including a lot of unemployed immigrants in this country, and you have the potential for disunity and actual disruption, rupture of the social fabric to the extent it still exists. And so you have to shut down immigration right now.
I'm glad you brought up immigration, because I was thinking about what you said in our last conversation about race, and I'm going to quote you here. You said, most of the debates about race, ethnicity, religion, to some extent immigration, are less resonant long-term than debates about economics. And you said race is thrown up as a distraction. And you are someone who has spent a lot of time, though, talking about those issues. You've denigrated immigrants, saying that they make our country poorer and dirtier and more divided. And you've long warned that immigrants are going to replace what you call legacy Americans.
Well, they have. The overwhelming majority of new jobs in the last 5 years have gone to immigrants, not Americans. So
but wait,
it's not
let me
really
finish.
a debate, actually.
But you called Iraqis semi-literate primitive monkeys. I mean, you've used language that many find.
What year did I say that? Do you know?
I think it was in 2018.
I did not say that in 2018.
Oh, no, 2008. I'm so sorry. Yeah, 2008.
Oh, okay.
So 2008.
Right, yeah. So the point is I'm a racist? Is that what you're saying?
No, the point is, were you...
No, I'm just going to be honest with you, Chad. Tucker just said he 57 years old. 2008, man, Tucker, you was grown as a motherfucker. Hold on, Tucker. Hold on, man. You was grown as a motherfucker saying what? The fuck was you saying?
Have gone to immigrants, not Americans. So
but wait,
it's not
let me
really
finish.
a debate, actually.
But you called Iraqis semi-literate primitive monkeys. I mean, you've used...
Arctic Adjuster says, so what if he said it? Shut the fuck up, Arctic Adjuster. How about this? How about this? You tell me to shut the fuck up, I'm gonna keep talking, but I bet your ass don't keep typing. Not in this motherfucker. We gonna put you in time out. Sit your punk ass in the corner. Now you shut the fuck up and listen to this, Arctic adjuster. You shut the fuck up.
Use language that many
What
find.
year did I say that? Do you know?
I think it was in 2018.
Oh, I did not say that in 2018.
Oh, no, 2008. I'm so sorry. Yeah, 2008.
okay.
So 2008.
Right, yeah. So the point is I'm a racist? Is that
No,
what you're
no.
saying?
The point is, were you
What
part
is
of
the
the
point?
distraction? The question is, were you
Oh.
part of the distraction? Because you were
Sure.
using those, talking about those issues quite a lot.
I wasn't actually talking about those issues quite a lot, but I would say I have been involved in many distractions, including that. I'm not saying race is immaterial. Race is important. Race is real. It's not a social construct. It's a biological reality. There are racial differences, real racial differences. They're much smaller than gender differences, but they're still real. But my point was the one that I made initially, which is for most Americans, people who are born here, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't matter, of any race, the real concerns are economic. And I do think that certain forces, the banks, people loaning the money, have a real incentive to foment dissent within the population against each other. Fight amongst yourselves while we continue to charge you 25% interest on your credit card. And as I said, when we first discussed this, I noticed this after Occupy Wall Street, which was like the very first.
This is what I'm saying, Chad. When it comes to Tucker, when it comes to a lot of these people, I put them in the same category as I do Nick Fuentes. Motherfucker might say some shit that could turn America around, and it might not be. But at the end of the day, Tucker's view of the perfect America, Nick Fuentes' view of the perfect America, and my view of the perfect America are probably vastly different. They're probably vastly different. I'm just going to be honest with you, man. Do I think that Tucker cares about what the fuck I got going on, my community? No, I definitely don't. Do I think Nick Fuentes cares about my community and what the fuck? No, I don't. Honestly, I don't.
Left-wing movement that I thought, I kind of like the theme here. I mean, I wasn't, whatever. I'm not camping out on the sidewalk in front of J.P. Morgan, but the idea that you could have a global financial crisis and no one responsible for it goes to jail, and the only people who suffer are the people who took the loans, not the ones who issued the loans, I felt like that's just not fair. And so I supported the idea of holding the creditors accountable for their crimes. And none ever were held accountable by Bush or Obama, as you know. And then I noticed, and this is measurable actually by Alexa's search of New York Times stories, that the term racist, racism, white supremacy, those exploded in New York Times stories, and not just the New York Times, but the
Nick Merrill says, who actually cares more about anyone's community? I do. The fuck? I mean, let's just be honest here, Chad. If who else is gonna do it? We had Obama. Obama didn't do shit. Who else is gonna do it? Who else is gonna do it? Clinton didn't do it. Bush didn't do it. Obama didn't do it. Biden didn't do it. Trump's not doing it twice. Who else is gonna do it for niggas? I'm just gonna be honest with you, Chad. We see the municipal fraud. All of the money that's allocated to the inner cities, it's stolen. It's going to the ranches and fucking championship horses and shit. And what are you talking about, man? I care.
rest of the legacy media. And my interpretation of this fact is that the media was used to distract the population with
But you
racial
were part
conflict.
of the media, Tucker.
Well, I've already said I have been part of many distractions. It took me a long time to recognize this. And I'm trying to be honest about it now. Now, again, there's been an enormous amount, particularly in the New York Times, but not just, of anti-white hate, which is like totally normalized across the American media. Whiteness is bad. White supremacy is evil. Every other kind of ethnic awareness is great and celebrated, but white ethnic awareness is Nazism, et cetera, et cetera.
This is what I'm saying, Chad. Y'all don't have a problem. A lot of y'all, not going to put blanket y'all, but a lot of you motherfuckers, y'all don't have a problem with other minority groups voting in block and saying that, hey, if we don't get these initiatives taken care of, we're not voting for you. You don't have a problem when it comes to the Muslims voting together. You don't have a problems when it comes to the Indians voting together. You don't have a problems when it comes to the Hispanics, man. It's just niggas, bro. It's literally just niggas, bro. Niggas get to talking about putting their votes together to get some shit done. Motherfuckers get the clutching pearls, bro. It's crazy.
It's absurd and pretty malicious double standard. And that's annoying, and I've noted it many, many times. But ultimately, what I'm saying is that people care about their economic fortunes and their ability to pay their bills and secure a better life for their kids.
Muslims ain't a race. It's a group of people, man. It's a group of people.
And those things are way more important.
That's voting in block. It's a group of people that's a voter block.
To most Americans I have met, than anything related to race. And that's why all the stuff about whiteness being bad, which is like an outrageous slur if you think about it, all of that, in my opinion, was designed as a distraction from the fact that the American economy was becoming ever more pyramid-shaped, ever more lopsided, ever more, basically ever less middle class. The middle class was no longer the majority after 2015. That was not even noted in most public.
See, this is the thing. Nobody said that, Jay. Nobody said that you have to only look out for a certain group of people. What I said, if nobody has done it, who's going to do it? Nobody has done it. Nobody said, I said, I don't think Tucker will do it. I don't think Nick Fuentes will do it. We've had Bill Clinton, George Bush, Obama, Trump twice, and Biden. Neither one of them did it. No, where did I say only look out for the black community? I just said nobody's done it before. That's what I said. See, you tried to take what you heard and try to run off with it and put it in and put it out there how you seen fit. No, you twisted my words. That's not what I said. And I would appreciate you not twisting my words.
Applications. And like, that's a tragedy, and no one even said anything about it. And instead, it was just like, white people hate black people hate white people. We got played. That's my view.
You brought up Occupy Wall Street and your affinity with that. And you said in our previous interview, the future that I imagine is not a future in which we're yelling at each other about race. It's a future in which people are legitimately revolutionary, maybe even violent, on the basis of thwarted economic opportunity. And it made me wonder, do you believe capitalism is an evil system, a necessary evil, something else? And also, what do you mean about legitimately revolutionary?
I certainly didn't mean to endorse violence. I can't imagine I would never say that intentionally. I'm amazed that you have a tape of me saying that, and I just want to disavow it. I'm not for violence, period.
Okay.
It's against my religion, and so I just want to be very, very clear that I'm totally opposed to violence. What I mean is the current system, and I don't know what you would call our economic system. And I'm often...
See, this is the thing, Chad. I'm from a place to where that shit doesn't matter. I don't care if they're racist. Tucker can be racist, Nick can be, I don't give a fuck. Just tell me what it is so I know not to vote for you. I know not to fuck with you. That shit doesn't bother me. Like Tucker saying monkey, whatever the fuck he said, hey, cool, man. Keep fighting a good fight. I just won't vote for your ass. Nick Fuentes, hey, man, you don't like niggas. You want to move far away from them as you can. Hey, do that shit. I just won't vote for your ass. Keep exposing J.D. Vance and Palantir. Keep fighting your fight. I just won't vote for your ass. It's cool. I don't hate them. It's my honest truth. Like, shit. I know you don't fuck with me. I'm not going to act like you fuck with me. Keep doing the good work that you're doing and shit. Do it over there.
Told it's free market capitalism. It doesn't bear any resemblance to what I thought free market capitalism was.
What's up, Asha?
I'm not sure the name is important except as a way to mislead and bully people into being quiet about it. But any economic system in which, the overwhelming majority of the rewards go to an ever shrinking number of people, or
you said racism works both ways. Yeah, but this is the difference, too. There are black nationalists. There are black racists. I see them people out there talking crazy. But it's a different. Niggas not deporting nobody. Niggas not trying to deport nobody. Niggas not trying to change birthright citizenship. Niggas not trying to gentrify nobody. Let's just be honest. So then maybe it goes both ways, but it looks completely different. It goes both ways, but trust me, it looks completely different.
Or proportion of people is a doomed system because it makes people revolutionary. I saw this in Venezuela, which I visited as a child. It was a prosperous kind of first world country, beautiful country actually. And then it, of course, it proceeded along the path we're on, and the resentment built, and you had this very volatile combination of electoral politics, a democracy, and, you know, an economic oligarchy, and those two don't work well together. And you had a left-wing populist takeover, Hugo Chavez. And the results are now well known. So I don't know what you call this, but it's not working, and it's making for a very volatile country. You know, people have to own things. They have to be...
You said, why can't we all get along? I'm just going to be honest with you, Chad. Do y'all want the truth, or do y'all want me to sugarcoat this shit? If y'all want the truth, put truth down in the comments, man. If y'all want me to sugarcoat this shit, keep it cute, I'll just continue to play the video, because I'll tell y'all the fucking truth, man. Why can't we all get along, man? Why can't... We're at a point to where this administration is pushing it to at least you're white. This is what this administration is pushing, man. You might not be rich. Everything might not be going your way, but at least you're white. At least you're not a Latino that we can fucking deport. At least you're not a Somali. At least you're not a Haitian that just got their temporary protected. At least you're not getting the H-1B. At least you're not one of these violent ass niggas. That's what's going on right now. It's going on both sides. So do you think the shit's gonna stop anytime soon? I don't. Honestly. I don't.
Vested in the country in order to de-radicalize them. But when people own nothing, they've got nothing to lose. I mean, these are very obvious observations.
Two last questions. You can dispute the premise, which I'm sure you will.
I don't know that I will.
But I want to preempt it anyway, just because I think in our brief time together...
Thank you for preparing me.
In our brief time together, I feel like I've come to understand a bit about you. All right. I'd say two of the most seminal events in your professional life were, one, the Iraq War, and two, the election of Donald Trump. That's the premise. You were for both of them. Now you say that they were both mistakes. So I guess, why should anyone after that track record listen to you?
Well, people probably won't, you know.
But has it caused some self-reflection about...
Oh, has it caused... Well, I admitted it. So, of course, it has caused a lot of self-reflection. And I wouldn't say, by the way, that the 2016 election of Donald Trump was a mistake. I didn't mean to suggest that. I was addressing this last year and like what happened to the campaign promises that a lot of us repeated enthusiastically and thought were real.
But if you're saying that Donald Trump...
And that's the thing, chat. I tell y'all that I'm a little fucked up. Y'all want me to come in here and just be cookie cutter perfect and shit when I tell y'all that ain't me. I'm a little fucked up, chat. It is what it is. It is what it is. Y'all want the truth or do y'all want the bullshit, man? Y'all want me, oh, Plug, that's not, why does it have to be? Because that's the way it fucking is, man. That's the way it is. Shit. Come on, Chay. We not gonna sit here and act like this shit is kumbaya when it's not. Yes, it should be. Yes, we are all humans, but we not gonna act like this shit is not controlled and manipulated. We not gonna act like you ain't got your racist ass cousin or uncle. We ain't gonna act like y'all don't laugh at those little funny ass stereotypical jokes. We not gonna act like this shit. You feed into this shit just like everybody else, man. I'm just gonna be the one to own up to it. I'm just gonna be the one to say, hey, I'm a little fucked up. Shit ain't perfect. I don't hate anyone. But I don't trust anyone either. Honestly. This shit is crazy, bro. Nah, hell nah, Erica. Humor is one thing, but we gotta be honest, man. What crosses the line? What crosses the line? If we're going to say humor is one thing, what crosses the line? Because right now, everybody's saying that, oh, it's just jokes. The shit that Trump's posting is just jokes. So is it just jokes or is it the fucking truth? See, that's where we at now, man. It used to be all right. Dave Chappelle had his joke. Bernie, man, all them people had their jokes and shit, man. Hey, man, let the comedians joke and shit. Let the comedians joke and shit, man. Y'all know what's going on. Y'all know it's some people right here, right now in the chat that couldn't dare bring a mixed baby home. Couldn't dare. And gonna come in here and pass judgment on me. Don't pass judgment on me. Pass judgment on your uncle and them. Pass judgment on your grandma and them. Leave. Run up out of here because I'm telling the truth. Pass judgment on your family and them that's really racist. You know you can't bring a black baby home. And I'm not just talking to the white folk. This for the Latinos and the Asians too. It's for the Latinos. It's for the blacks too. The black nationalists too. You know, don't you come here trying to pass judgment on me knowing you can't bring a mixed baby home.
Could lead this country to a nuclear war, which is essentially what you said could happen, then how could the 2016 election of Donald Trump not have been something that you regret? I mean, those two things, I mean, if I was going to vote for someone who might lead us to a nuclear holocaust, I would perhaps reconsider my vote.
Well, I don't know if you remember well, but that year was a choice between the lady who killed Gaddafi for no reason and turned Libya into a gaping wound, which it remains, for no reason, and then laughed about it, and a guy who said the Iraq War was a mistake. So for me, that was not even a close call. I mean, Hillary Clinton, particularly in foreign policy questions, was a grotesque neocon from my perspective. So I don't regret.
Some of them did. You said when we were kids, did we care about skin color at the park? Some of them did, and I make sure my kids don't. I make sure my kids don't. I swear to you, chat, I protect my kids from this shit. I don't play that shit, man. Kids is kids, man. I'm not finna introduce my kids to a cold racist world, man. I'm not. Some people do, but yeah. Yes, kids were racist at the damn park when I was growing up. They racist at the park now. And I do everything I can to protect my fucking kids from that shit. Honestly.
That, I'm grateful that he won in 2016. My only point, once again, was he campaigned against the things he's now doing a year and a half ago. So I just apologized for repeating those campaign slogans as if they were true. I thought they were true. They turned out not to be true, and I feel bad about that. You know, I'm often wrong. I say that and I mean it. It's not a pose. And I do think, last thing I'll say is I think if you force yourself to admit you're wrong, and I always forced my 4 children to admit they were wrong. I didn't do a lot of spanking. The punishment I meted out was forcing them to admit that they had done something wrong.
See, this the thing. You said now you're racist, it seems. No, I got equal smoke for all the racists, man. I got equal smoke. Ask this chat. OGs to the channel, tell them I got equal smoke for all the races. The blacks, the whites, the Somalis, the Haitians, the Caribbean, the East Indians, the English, the Australians, the Germans, the Russians, the Jews. I got smoke for everybody. I don't give a fuck. That's the difference, chat. I'm not picking and choosing when it comes to this shit. I'm calling this shit out, man. If it is what it is. Call it what you want, man. I got equal smoke for all. It is what it is.
That's enough, usually. I think if you do that, it makes you wiser over time, and you're less likely. It doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. I will make many mistakes going forward, I assume, but you're less likely to fall for things once you've apologized the first time. And the thing that I noticed and that drove me so crazy about Washington that I finally left was the cyclical nature of bad decision making. They wouldn't just make.
No, I'm not a black nationalist. I'm FBA. Get that shit right, man. When you speaking on Plug, get that shit together, man. Plug is FBA, man. Foundational Black American, man. Get that shit together.
Bad decisions again and again. They would make the same bad decisions again and again and again based on the same faulty assumptions. And they could do that because no one was ever held to account for any failure or disaster ever. The only people who were ever punished were the people who complained about it. And I watched that, and it drove me nuts. And I just don't want to add to that. I don't want to be part of that at all. For all my faults, I don't want to be part of that. So that's it. I'm not running for anything. And if, people think I'm not credible because I changed my mind about the Iraq War.
No, a lot of them black nationalists, with that Africa shit and with that black diaspora shit. So it's not the same thing, man. It's not the same thing.
War because I was shocked that Trump launched a war he said he wouldn't launch. I get it. I understand why people feel that way. I'm not mad about it.
This is my last question. It's a personal one. I talk to a lot of people, left and right, about you. A lot of them used to be your friends. Or they said they were close to you or spent time with you.
They're all mad at me now.
Well, they all say that you've changed. Some say you've sort of become untethered from reality. And the question all of them had was, what happened to Tucker Carlson? And it's something that I've heard echoed a lot. You're an object of a lot of...
No, I know some black nationalists for sure. And it's not that, man. Trust me, Chad. We've had some black nationalists on the channel, man. They listen, no, Chad.
Fascination, continuing interest. You are at the center of a lot of our cultural conversations. And I wonder how you would answer that question.
Well, I marvel at it, and I mean this sincerely. I don't find myself very...
See, the black nationalists blame the white man for everything, chat. Y'all haven't heard me blame the white man one time. No, I blame the system. I blame the motherfuckers in control. I blame nepotism. But see, black nationalism have this fixation with blaming it's just the white man. It's the terminology. You will hear it coming up out of them. You know what I'm saying?
Very interesting at all. I feel like I'm as transparent as I can be. So the idea that I've changed, well, yeah, I hope so. America's changed a lot. And if you still think that making the world better is as simple as sending aircraft carriers to a foreign country, if you think the way to improve discourse is by banning words, if you think the vax is safe and effective, I don't know what to tell you. Like, have you not been paying attention? Apparently not. Or maybe you're just resistant to the conclusions. But it's really important, if you advocate for something, to watch, to stay patient, and see how it winds up. And if you spend a lot of time telling people this is true, and then you find out it's not true, you have an obligation to say, I'm sorry, I told you that was true, but it turns out it's not safe and effective, and regime change isn't that simple, and no, speech codes don't work, or whatever.
You said, what's FBA all about? It's a long story, Jeb. You got different parts of FBA. A lot of people try to attribute it to Tariq Nasheed. He started the movement, but FBA is it's a widespread thing now. You know how a movement starts off as one thing and then it kind of takes its own form of roots. But for the long story short, it's delineation, man. It's delineation. Like how y'all try to say, go back to Africa or just all of these different cultures that y'all try to associate with Black Americans. It's delineating from that, delineating from the Africans, delineating from the Haitians, delineating from the Cubans. It's like, hey, look, man, we are Black Americans. Our experience was different, and it just is what it is. I can go more into depth about it, but this is not what this show is about.
You were advocating for. So, yeah, of course I've changed. I mean, the changes that have taken place in this country since August of 1991, when I entered the workforce, are bewildering to me. I mean, so much has changed. So many of my assumptions have been blown up, just evaporated under the pressure of reality, that if I still clung to those, that would be shameful. That would be dishonest. And I don't want to be that.
Tucker Carlson, this has been so interesting. Thank you so much for your...
All right, chat. Double tap the screen, chat. We got to hit this next like goal. I'm going to pull up a video. I've been wanting to watch this for a while. I haven't got a chance to, so we're going to watch this. It's
admissible.
2 CIA officers. One of them is loyal and one of them is flipped to a spy, I believe. But they're having a debate and a conversation. 2 CIA officers.
So we could figure out if
I
we
think this guy works for Russian media now, and the other guy's the one that's always on Vlad TV.
Try them in the Eastern District of Virginia, the Southern District of New York, or the District of Massachusetts. I said, that's a great idea. So we put them on the C-12. You know, they stop in Oman for
What's up,
refueling, they
Jason?
go the rest of the way. And it turned out the White House had other ideas. And then, of course,
You said why associate with any other group, be your own man. This is the thing. When it comes to this, it's kind of like a lot of other groups